Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, welcome, one and all. Today we've got a very special Friendship Cartel Civil War featuring XMT, DBD, QSA, all of which are more or less merged into the same clan at this point. We are, of course, the Super Clan, and yeah, we're going to be having some fun with both land battle, domination. Will be a good time. I actually forgot to enable both the Total Tavern map pack and... yes, the land battles with caps, both of which will be necessary for today as we are using both mods to enhance the multiplayer experience. So yes, I actually totally forgot to enable those. I actually had to exit the client real quick and re-enable them. So let's get in and get to the replays now. Hopefully y'all are doing well. Welcome, welcome. It's going to be a fun time today. Expect some very much meme builds. I mean, this is XMT after all, extreme meme team. So I definitely... would expect this to be just generally a good time with a lot of fun builds and wild stuff going on. So really honestly been stoked since this was planned. I've been stoked to feature some of the replays. There are a lot of replays to get through. Quite a few more than I have thought for whatever reason, even though I knew how many games there was going to be. We'll see. I might not have 100% time to get through all of them today. If not, we'll maybe have to do a part 2 tomorrow. But that will be fine. So anyway, let's get started here with Samurai versus Pugnton. As is the typical clan war format, each pairing will play 2 games, this time land battle and domination, and each win will be worth a point. 2v2 wins also are just worth a point this time around. We've also got a siege and an ambush battle, I believe. Need to make sure I've got all those lined up, but yeah, let's get started here. We've got Samurai Warrior versus Geese. Yes, perfect. Or no, sorry, Pugnabon stepping in, I guess. Yeah, there have been some substitutions and whatnot, but anyway, let me go ahead and make sure I got the chat here. What's up, Geese? Make sure I got this, and let's get the match lined up. That's right, got a full-on scoreboard and everything for today. So it's looking good. We'll start with Bretonnia versus the Greenskins. Albrecht leading the way with a life caster. We've also got some hippos up in the air and some Grail Knights as well, and Knights of the Realm. Front line of mobs. Gold Chevron mobs is absolutely hilarious. They actually go up to 58 leadership, which is something. I mean, with all the other effects happening, of course, but still. Yeah, also get bonus versus large when Albrecht is nearby. Also got men-at-arms with polearms here, a couple trebs for the Greenskins. It's full-on Pigtonia. Would you look at this build here? Lots of boars, just all the boars. Got a couple of Spider Riders and auxiliary. Wurzag, of course, as leader, but then Orc Boar Boys. We've got Orc Boar Boy Biggins. And yeah, pretty much just a mix of both of those. A couple of Orc Boys on foot as well. 3 of them, it looks like. So we're looking at a full Pigtonia build here. Let's see how it does. Yes. And my mouse is just now, of course, deciding to give me issues as soon as I try and stream. It's been totally fine up until now, but anyway. We shall persevere and just use the other more limited camera controls. Anyway, Hippogriff Knights are obviously going to be great with their terror, but they have to be very careful about how they deploy here in general. You would think Albrecht's bonus versus large kind of AoE would be very good here, but right now Samurai is kind of pushing his units up. We'll see. Lance formation is, of course, the only true Chad move here, but Pigtonia very patiently approaching. And there we go. Now my mouse decided to start working again. Team Pineapple is supreme. Hey, what's up, Ronan? Good to see you all today. Welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, Trebuchet is going to be opening up. Get a few little hits there on those Orc Boar... sorry, the regular boys. I'm getting all tongue-tied with the boys and the boars and the boar boys and the boys on boars. Anyway. Nice little hit-and-run charge by these Grail Knights in the front line. Probably will bait some boars out. Yeah, it looks like the Boar Riders are going to push forward and try and get on those Grail Knights. A little bit of an Earth Blood there, but Right now, Pugnabon just very patiently getting a nice full surround here. Maneuvering to be able to do so at least. Samurai Warrior staying mostly on the defensive, which honestly is smart. But we'll see how it does. The gold chevron rank 9 peasant mobs is definitely the MLG move here for sure. So they're going to eat a charge from some lads. And let's see how much those chevrons actually make a difference, if at all. Certainly, trebuchets are able to fire in a little bit more here, but the cavalry of Bretonnia just kind of hanging back still, staying mostly in defensive positions. But oh, here we go! Yes, yes. The Foot of Gork right on some Knights of the Realm, just detonates that peasant mob completely as well. Sacrificed an orc boar biggin, but totally worth it. Also saw a wind blast there on the front line, but yeah, over here, the Grail Knights of the Realm charge in with Hippos. Albric also in the nearby area, but he's not giving this blob extra anti-large specifically. He needs to be a little bit closer, I think, for that, given how far away he is right now. But Pineapple and Pizza should not fight. They should join together. That's a debate that we'll be having, I'm sure, all day. But I have my own thoughts about Pineapple on Pizza builds, and how their viability is really only expressed with barbecue sauce as the sauce, which is very American of me, I know, but still, I mean, barbecue sauce is sweet and tangy already, and the flavor actually does pair quite well with pineapple, believe it or not. So, yeah, barbecue pizza with pineapple has my approval, especially mix some bacon in there. Again, bacon's one of those flavors that can pair well with sweet, right? You get a lot of, like, maple bacon type dishes, and anyway, Pigtonia is full on just rolling Bretonian lines right now. The peasant mobs and spearmen didn't really hold up at all, and kind of the elite cavalry of Bretonnia can only be so many places at a time, and definitely at this point just facing overwhelming numbers of boars. Anyway, effigy to get now going to be used on these Grail Knights. Freeze them in place, make sure they cannot escape, and just the absolute horde of pigs. Look at this. Look at this absolute madness. This is actually probably pretty painful for Bretonnia to deal with, even with a dedicated, like, anti-large build. It's just so much cost-effective armor-piercing cavalry to deal with here. I'm telling you guys, you don't knock until you try it. One of my favorite pizzas is barbecue sauce with pineapple and bacon. Yeah. You Europeans, I'm sure, just hating me right now, but that's okay. Well, we're going to see a little wave attack from... Oh, yeah, that wasn't Wind Blast earlier. I forget. Albric actually has this, which will lead to units getting terrified, briefly. But, so far, looking pretty rough. Some mobs do come back. They might be able to win out against those Orc Boar Biggins. Some spears also holding out. Maybe a dedicated full-on spear halberd box build would actually be able to withstand the Pigtonia, but definitely seems like Samurai Warrior was not prepared for the volume of bacon. Speaking of pineapple and bacon on pizza, that's exactly what this build is. It's bringing home the absolute pork here. Ah, yes. Yes, yes. Love the Paravon color scheme, by the way. I'm a sucker for black and yellow or black and gold color schemes. Like Azag's color scheme, for example, is absolutely fantastic. Classic Greenskins, though, just going to roll things up here, so we'll probably fast forward a little bit through this end game, as things look fairly hopeless for Bretonnia. Who knows, maybe Albric can pull out a win on just his terror routes. Get some peasant mobs with anti-large supporting here. Can actually whack the boars a little bit, but it's not enough. Another effigy to get there. And the boars finishing off Albric, and that should be pretty much it. Yep. So Team Pizza, unfortunately, takes the loss on that one. Game 1 going to Team Pineapple, with Pugnabon picking up the win with Pigtonia. More like Pignabon, am I right? Anyway. Let's go ahead and just pop that on the scoreboard. On 1 for Pineapple. Getting on the board first, drawing first sauce, and we will move on to the next replay. which is a domination game between these two. This time we've got classic Wood Elves versus Lizardmen, and I see already a Salamander build, which is just fantastic, against Samurai Warriors tree build. So this actually is going to be a really interesting game. Oh man, hopefully you guys are excited for this, because about to get hot in here. I love the map, too, with the lava. It's very appropriate, kind of underground. I don't know how the trees got down here, but anyway, let's not think about that too hard, or the lizards, actually, for that matter, but very cool map. I love this kind of runic circle here in the center. That is just absolutely awesome. So, anyway, let's take a look at the builds here initially on this domination game. We've got Dryka leading the way, a bunch of Dryads, and Treekin, some Glade Riders with Spears, Eternal Guards, and a Branch Wraith. For Lizardmen's side, Hedwin, very cool, leading a pack of Salamanders with 2 Ancients and 4 regular Salamanders, some Javelin cohorts as well. I'm curious to see what the rest of their builds look like, but this is pretty interesting to start for sure. Bacon on top of pizza. Yes, with barbecue sauce. I actually might get one of those today. That sounds freaking delicious. Anyway, about to be some wood fire. Oh yeah, this is the classic, you know, like homemade, hand-rolled crust, like all rustic with a wood-fired stove. Absolutely. With, I'd imagine that Lizardmen are probably down for the Meat Lovers pizza. Like, if I had to guess, there's probably quite a few factions who would enjoy the Meat Lovers pizza, but it definitely seems like Lizardmen is high on that list, so... yeah, it's going to be an initial salvo of flaming breath attacks here from these little salamander packs, and surprisingly not doing that much damage to the Dryads. One important interaction here is the physical resistance still protecting more or less against the weakness to fire fully. I guess it's like at a 5% increase to damage, but it's not that much, especially shooting at the infantry models, or like the Treekin's heavy armor definitely saved them here. But Wood Elf Cavalry tries to get a little cheeky in here with the charge to disrupt this formation, but very quickly get terrified away by the Ancient Salamander and take massive damage to Javelins. Wild Riders showing off their extra thick mass. They've put their reindeer on a diet of extra gingerbread cookies, and I don't know, what kind of pizza does Santa eat? I don't even want to know, actually. Let's not go there, but anyway... yeah, the Wild Rider is also just getting pushed away by the Javelins, despite doing some really nice damage there. Light cavalry attack, Samurai Warrior doing a good job of not just running straight in, but kind of disrupting and getting charges from different angles here. The Wood Elf melee rush also came in and obviously just crumped these skinks no problem, with the trees just absolutely raffle stomping them. Oh man. What about Team Romulan Dov? Still undefeated, it's true. It's true, Romulan. Unfortunately, we were too powerful for this particular competition. No, actually, yeah, just... I was not sure 100% if I would have time to actually participate, but anyway. Yes, Wild Riders here, getting chased away. The Cold One Spear Riders come in as a very nice response. But it's definitely anyone's game at this point. They're kind of just scrapping back and forth, objective-wise. I'm really not even paying attention to the objectives, to be honest. There are some objectives on this map, certainly. And right now it seems like Lizardmen are, yeah, trading slightly ahead, but more or less even on the objectives and on army damage value. I mean, Wood Elves have pretty good control of these two. And Lizardmen would have to put together a little push to go take this, but it wouldn't be that much for them to do so. They've got a really high density of fire here, sitting on this objective with high mobility as well that can just swing over and try and deal with them. But anyway, gonna get a little bit of shades here from Dryka. Not too much, a little bit of damage. But yeah, the Salamander attacks, Ancient Salamander in particular, adding that extra weakness to fire, helps bypass the physical resistance, and will definitely do some really nice damage here. Anyway, yeah, some Dryads also being summoned. The Malevolents get in there, try and mix it up, take down that unit of Salamanders. The Malevolents have decent speed, but definitely, I mean, Salamanders have 70 speed, so they can easily outrun for sure, as long as they have good micro on them. Which definitely can be stressful at times in domination, but there you go. I apologize if I sound a little extra nasally, dealing with some spring allergies right now. They are just full force, but anyway, moving on from that. Treekins are taking a surprising amount of damage here. I mean, they are... I mean, not surprising, I should say, in that way, but, like, they're tanking surprisingly well, would be a better way to put it. They're eating a lot of shots and still just pushing through, keeping up the pressure. I'm quite impressed by their performance, honestly. I mean, their weapon strength is really still not very good, but I don't know. There's something about them. I guess just the fact that the sustained combat stats of Cold One Riders are really not that great either. They're just kind of trading evenly right now. Let's see. Yeah, those Treekins absolutely get roasted. It's turned into firewood. Charcoal style on the grill. Henneman also able to fairly effectively keep this zone secured. But objective-wise, the Lizardmen definitely need to make a push and try and get some of these other objectives. So let's see if they're able to do so. Right now, still trading pretty close to even. Pugnabon slightly ahead, but... I'm surprised that Samurai Warrior's build I thought would just get absolutely hard countered here, but in fact it did not. Treekin Dryads have proven surprisingly resilient, all things considered, and the light cavalry definitely has helped them out in that aspect, but... Yeah, I agree, FPod. It's, you can see here, they also tend to do a lot more friendly fire damage because of that faster missile speed and the flatter trajectory. Yeah, they have a tendency to do a little bit more friendly fire damage, which is not necessarily ideal, but it's still fine. I think faster missile speed, especially for shooting flying units, I mean, Salamanders were basically 100% useless shooting flying units before. And now they sometimes can, depending on if they're, you know, relatively slow or pinned down or yeah, as long as they're not overly fast. But anyway, Salamander's going to line up for some more volleys here. The tricky thing with taking like a skirmish-oriented build like this in domination is that it's hard for you to actually get on the objectives and secure them. Samurai Warriors build is definitely a lot more geared to actually holding the objectives, so he could end up winning out even if he gets out DPS'd, as long as he doesn't take too much damage. Took inspiration from Skaven. Yeah, definitely. Ate too many Skaven, and the treachery actually seeped through. You know, you are what you eat, as they say. And it is well known that if you eat something treacherous, then you will become much more dishonest yourself. So, you know, don't eat too many Skaven, I guess is the moral of the story. Bad for your health. We've got some more Cold One Riders coming in here. We've got Hennewen still just hanging around. I honestly have not been paying attention to Hennewen's spell usage, but just going to assume that he's been casting spells, probably. But the Salamanders, once they get firing on those light cap, they can definitely just burst them down super fast. And the damage is starting to accrue a little bit more against Samurai Warrior. We'll see. And it's nothing too insurmountable at this point. It's definitely still holding the objectives just fine. And in fact, he did actually get a 3 cap here as Pugnabon temporarily kind of abandons this objective to try and make that other push. So the other thing too, Samurai Warrior has a lot more units on the field right now. Pugnabon really doesn't have much, and you know, like this gold chevron Source Warrior, for example, is a very expensive, slow unit to bring out of reserve, so domination, although they may trade well, still going to struggle to get on and capture the objectives. So don't eat pineapple pizza. Yes. I am actually made of every kind of pizza. No, believe it or not, there's actually a place here in my city that is called Curry Pizza. You can imagine what they make. Apparently, it's very highly rated. I have not actually tried it yet, but everyone's been raving about it recently. So, I don't know. I'm kind of, like, to be honest, like a naan with freaking curry on it sounds good already. So if that's, like, the starting point for the curry pizza, should actually be probably delicious, but that's also some more heresy, I'm sure. to all true Italians, but that's okay. Yeah, the classic margherita Italian pizza is very good as well. And actually, so I'm half Brazilian, right? And in Brazil, they have pizza that's a little bit closer to Italian. It's not exactly. There are some differences in terms of like the herbs and the specific cheeses they use. But it's a lot more similar to Italian pizza. It's very, very good. They also have some more, you know, kind of distinctly Brazilian, like this specific cream cheese called catupiry, and with like shredded chicken. Oh my god, it's so good. So good. Probably one of my top pizzas. So maybe I'll do a pizza tier list sometime soon. Who knows? I've been legit thinking about starting a food channel. Like, not even joking, just because I love food so much. Anyway, at this point, the Wood Elves are pressing pretty hard on all fronts. You know, army damage value-wise, they've managed to basically keep things more or less how they've been, and just be able to maintain the objective captures. So, Samurai Warrior definitely in the driver's seat at this point. I don't know that Pugnabon has the resources to actually take all 3 objectives and hold them for a decent amount of time, which is what he would need to do to win here. So, não fala muito bem. Meu português não é muito bom. It's pretty bad, to be honest, but I can understand quite a bit, like if someone's speaking to me, but I don't have a lot of practice speaking back, because I, you know, moved to the States when I was, like, yes, less than a year old, so da foods win, for sure, though. Like, someday, legit, if Warhammer ever, you know, truly kicks the can, I don't know that it ever truly will. I think this game has enough longevity to be kind of like, you know, like Age of Empires 2, where it just lasts for decades, honestly. But regardless, at some point, probably I'll get bored with this project and want to move on to do something else. At that point, for sure, I will start a food channel. It may even happen before then, just as kind of like a little fun side project for me to learn some new skills in terms of, like, working with cameras, and, like, I need to get, like, a lavalier mic set and do some other kind of technical work in order to prepare for that, but definitely Dov eats at some point. Dov tries every pizza stream journey. No, seriously, I've been thinking of, like, you know, trying, like, a comparison of, like, tier listing all the donuts in my city, or, you know, like... Oh, dude, for sure, Ronan. I'm probably going to be going to Europe. I know for sure. Honeymoon, we're going to do the Greek islands. That will be in October, I believe. Or, yeah, October. But definitely Italy is probably next year. Me and my fiance were actually discussing, like, far out plans for next year, and definitely Italy is on the docket. Anyway, back to the battle. I've just been getting beautiful cinematic shots because although the battle has been epic and Pugnabon's been trading very well, he just gets out objective here. Objectived. Yep, that's a word. But yes, it's pretty inevitable that he's going to take home the win. So we'll just soak up the beautiful, beautiful sights of the salamanders, the trees duking it out here with the skinks and everything else. I don't know, for me, like, I'm willing to try most foods, even if I think the combination of something is weird. Like, I'm willing to give most things a shot, but... yeah. I definitely want to travel the world and try the most authentic foods in their respective countries, because nothing beats that, truly, truly. But, speaking of food, definitely Wood Elves did not get made into food here, although many treekin were turned into firewood. Oh, Mercy's here with his viewers. What's up, Mercy? Doing some meme battles here today with the XMT clans and their affiliates. So yeah, we're getting right into it, and even so far, Samurai Warrior able to win back a point for Team Pizza, restoring the honor of his country. Of course, he is Italian, and as such, needed to get a win against the evils of Pineapple and restore the honor of the pizza. So very good stuff. I love the gold chevron swords on paper, but in practice and domination, they're just so slow. But definitely the salamanders against the trees was a fun pick, and it worked pretty well, but surprisingly not as well as I would have thought. The trees actually did pretty good, so yeah, look at that. Fantastic. We'll put up a point for Team Pizza, and let's move on to the next series. What do we got? Here we go. So this is... Is this Ice Power? I don't know. Team Pineapple. Its current year. Okay, its current year versus Von Karstein. And just to confirm, its current year is on Team Pineapple, I believe. No, current year is actually on Team Pizza, even though he has Pineapple as his land tag, which is extra confusing. Von Karstein representing Team Pineapple here. We've got Dark Elves versus Khorne. Should be a great time for a land battle. Got Red Olgor here, the Demon Prince of Khorne. We've got the Regiment of Renown, a Bloodthirster, Khorne's Bloody Fist, some Chaos Chariots of Khorne, Marauders with dual weapons up front, 4 of them, some Furies, plenty of Warhounds, I would imagine, and Fleshhounds mixed. Or just Warhounds. Yeah, some Fleshhounds in there for sure. Love that Khorne build. Yeah, triple Chariot, actually. Fantastic. On to the other side, we've got Crone Hellebron leading the way for the Dark Elves, Siren of the Red Ruin, absolute Chad pick here, Blades of the Blood Queen, Siren, Sisters of Seeing Doom, some regular Witch Elves, so just all the RORs that you don't typically see. We've got Sisters of Slaughter here. It's not a full-on Naked Lady build, but it's pretty close. We've got Shades with Great Swords, Sorceress of Shadows, I'd imagine just rocking that. Actually, Melkos, Snow Pit of Shades, Enfeebling Foe, and Withering. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, yes. Honestly, speaking of Brazilian pizza, so there's a style of restaurant in Brazil where it's an all-you-can-eat pizza place where you actually just sit at the table and they'll bring you like a full pizza and just like give you a slice. Like, hey, you want some of this chicken catupiry, or you want some of this margarita, or, you know, it's really a fantastic format. And there's not a lot of places here in the US that do that type of a format, so, to be honest, if I had capital, I would probably start something like that. I also don't really have the time right now, but if I had the time and money, that would be a pretty cool concept, honestly. Red Ulgor is made from tomato sauce. Yes, it makes sense, actually, that its current year representing pizza with the red sauce. And of course, Dark Elves are true hedonists, so you know that they like, who knows, like nails on their pizza or something. They like their pizza made with extra pain. I don't know. Oh, taking a look at the actual battle here. Red Olgor getting in with Hellebron, getting a nice duel. Siren of the Red Ruin involved, so it's a 2v1 for now, but this Bloodthirster is moving over like he's got something to say about it. Looks like he's going to suffer a Withering, which is not really going to do much to stop his offensive output. The Shades should be firing into this engagement, but great disruption so far from Khorne to keep them from being able to fight. They do have great swords. They're going to take serious damage, though, from that Warhound charge in melee, even though they'll fight back pretty hard. But, wow, the Siren of the Red Ruin, these Witch Elves, actually doing a number on Red Olgor. He's also suffering the Madness of Cain, which importantly debuffs melee defense. And since his melee defense is not incredible in the first place, down to only 45, he is actually taking a lot of hits here. Hellebron also suffering pretty badly, though. Murder's Prowess pops very quickly, as it's an extremely bloody fight, but I have to say, I'm impressed with how well the Marauders with dual hand weapons are doing right now. They actually did not completely die in that initial engagement, which is what usually happens to them. Granted, they're fighting mostly like sad swords and dread spears, but yeah, a lot of the infantry for the Dark Elves just kind of buckles at the same time. Hellebrand also routs at the same time, and suddenly it's just the Siren of the Red Ruin. Certainly getting ruined in red here by Red Olgor, who manages to survive onslaught and just absolutely pummel this poor Sneck lady. Yeah, so the Brazilian steakhouse style, right, that's, my family actually is in the Brazilian steakhouse business, and yeah, the pizza concept is very similar. They call it Pizza Rodizio, actually, in Brazil, which is fun, but... Oh no, Siren, get back up, you're fine. It's a super, super good format, though, especially if you're a chungus like me and you like to eat ungodly amounts of pizza. Not to mention the dessert pizzas in Brazil, too, are out of control. I'll tell you what, man. Brazilians, they know how to do their sweets. Oh, man. They'll bring you, like, a pizza with, like, sweetened condensed milk, like cinnamon, bananas, or, like, they have this certain kind of chocolate, brigadeiro. They'll do, like, you know, Nutella and strawberry, just all sorts of different dessert pizzas that are hilarious. So good. Anyway, yeah, pretty decisive win for Khorne there, I have to say. I mean, I admire... I definitely admire von Karstein just trying to go melee rush against Khorne, but I don't think that was it's necessarily the most advisable idea. It definitely gets pummeled pretty hard. And this build actually at one point in Warhammer 2 would have been probably really strong, but at the end of the day, just, yeah, getting outclassed pretty severely by Khorne in melee. It's because pizza's filled with cocaine. Man, I saw a video recently that someone desecrated some bonbons by filling them with cocaine, which is a crime against bonbons, I'll be honest with you. Anyway, yeah, I'm surprised with how well the wars with dual hand weapons did, and the chariots also did a thing, which is pretty good. They actually paid for themselves. The lack of any cavalry for the Dark Elves was definitely a big problem in that way. Powdered sugar dessert pizza, yes. Oh, so good. So good. Anyway, so that is a win for Team Pizza. The tomato sauce here picking up a point. Go ahead and move on to the next game. Another domination round. And this time it's Norsca versus High Elves. Should be in for a great time. Sorry, someone's just sending me some text. Yeah, sorry, I'll respond to that in just a minute. Anyway, yeah, Norsca, we've got double Iceworm, including the ROR, which has been officially added to multiplayer, the Cold Voider here, which I guess just picks up Guardian, I think. Yeah, it's decent. Also pays not much for the rank 9 stats, which is pretty nice. Regular Frostworm here, Wolfric, we've got Marauders Great Weapons, Marauder Spearmen, and regular Marauders up front. So the double Frostworm is definitely brave, especially against the High Elves. We've got a Prince on a Sun Dragon. Oh, by far the most meme mount for the High Elves. I don't know, is the Sun Dragon more meme than the Griffin? I don't know. But anyway, we've got some Storm Riders here, Rangers, Silverin Guards, more Rangers, Dragon Princes, White Lions, and some... and a Lore Master? Let's see the spells here. Earthblood, Spirit Leech. Okay. Fairly standard stuff. And we're on this nice kind of vampire-themed map, or... I'm not sure. There's a Slaanesh cult building here. There's some other kind of chaos buildings. This in, like, the north of Nagaron's supposed to be, or... it's generally somewhere up in the Chaos Wastes in the forest. Not sure. Definitely chaos feeling, though. Anyway. These armies are getting ready to clash here, so let's get in close. It's just like an open-faced pastry, basically, with pizza dough. I think it's delicious. I definitely mess with dessert pizzas. Let's see, though. Will the Cold Voider and the other Frostworm team up to go after the Prince here, or is it just going to be 1v1, another Sun Dragon? Yeah, double Sun Dragon versus double Frostworm. Okay, so this is going to be fantastic. You know, actually, I think the Frostworm is probably better than the Sun Dragon. Let's see. Cold Voider here is 495. Yeah, has more weapon strength. Kind of better stats overall. Oh, the Hunter of Champions plus the Frostbite and the Chilling Aura means this thing is essentially immobilized. The Prince is now 2v1, trying to hard land. Look at how slowly he's hard landing, too. Just, like, crawling onto the ground. It doesn't even play an animation. Just, yeah, absolutely shameful display. And I would imagine getting wrecked. But here come the Dragon Princes, the other dragon in support as well. And suddenly things turn pretty heavily against the Norskins. Big old Spirit Leech here as well. Yeah, on the regular Frostworm. So very quickly that engagement turns from very south into straight north for one Karstein here and the High Elves. One Frostworm down. The Cold Voider doing a little bit better, but here comes Lure of Boats, just devastating this line of High Elves. I think it even got a little return bounce on those Rangers. Does just fully finish them. And the Marauders can then overrun, push through. But let's see, army damage value. By getting that Frostworm off the field, Von Karstein was able to take a small advantage here, but certainly, of course, domination games very long, afford you the ability to try and recover through army composition or other means. But here we go, a little bit of Earthblood here to keep the High Elves topped up, keep their units nice and fresh. Bows also able to fire in. One great thing, I feel like High Elf bows and Wood Elf bows just tend to be much more responsive than other factions. You get them to turn and shoot very quickly. But the Storm Riders here showing their prowess in doing so, just getting volley after volley into the Cold Voider here, doing quite a bit of damage, accruing some really nice value. Yeah, it's great value so far. Wolfric also, 1v1 against a Sun Dragon is not super advantageous for him, so don't want to call it early, but in this battle of fire and ice here, it definitely seems like fire is winning. Cold Voider gets a nice little breath attack there into the Storm Riders, does a lot of damage in return, immediately going to just straight land into those Silvering Guards and probably terrify them away. No? Anyway, the other Frostworm also came back, got another breath attack there. And let's see if it'll also charge in. But the Prince does finish. Ooh, just straight up kills the Cold Voider. Absolutely fantastic. And with that one down, yeah, even further ahead on the army damage value. Von Karstein's now got a solid, like, what, 1,300 lead-ish. So, pretty good stuff. What is this? We got some Miststalkers moving in. Ooh, Regiment Renowned Famir Warriors. Dual hand weapon Famir now also get an anti-large bonus, which makes them just kind of better than the regular Famir in pretty much every way. Or sorry, the Great Weapon Famir in every way. The Regiment Renown here actually as well. 52 melee defense and what is it? Plus 15 bonus versus large. Yeah, it's decent. It's 105 weapon strength. Yeah, solid overall. Still not the best sustained stats in the world, but they also got some extra missile resistance, I think. So it makes them decent in certain situations. Here, though, they're going to be a very expensive pick to bring out in Domination to try and contest with. And their attack against infantry is also still pretty low. But yes, we'll get in close and watch them mix it up. I do love their kind of bronze-looking armor, by the way. Oh yeah, Famir looking very mean. Not taking a lot of damage, but they definitely are taking damage so far. It's kind of a surprising amount, to be honest. Dragon Princes also are just going to come from these light reinforcements, so it's really not looking good right now for Norsca. Its current year might be taking another one for the team here, and it's looking very, very good for High Elves. Perhaps it will be different. Hang on, did I actually count the wrong one in the last? Did I actually give the wrong team a point in the last one? Anyway, we'll double check that just a second, but Rahagre's Pride actually comes out for the High Elves now. They're going to get a nice leadership debuff, just insta-route those hounds. Rahagre's Pride actually is pretty good right now. If you micro them well, they can definitely be quite strong in games that I've seen, and especially against a faction that brings like hounds type units as support, because they count as infantry. The anti-infantry bonus of Rahagre's Pride will apply. Looks like Wolfric just died to a dragon as well, so that is gonna spell even greater disaster for Norskins here. Yeah, Von Karstein pulling out even greater lead. Army damage value, granted he's a little bit behind on objectives right now, but certainly should have the strength to capture some of these objectives no problem. Like this one, he's definitely got mostly locked down here. It is a champion holding out against him, though, along with that Skin Wolf. So maybe not, actually. Maybe the Norskins will be able to kind of carry that engagement, be able to hold on to that objective. Here in the center as well, the Skin Wolves charging into Reavers will be a great engagement for them. Isles really, yeah, have some reinforcements inbound, but the Dragon Prince, of course, singular, will not afford any extra capture weight, so it's not really going to be wildly helpful here. Nice breath attack, though. Does manage to get some damage. Dragon Prince is also moving in, so Dragon Prince on Dragon Prince's attack here, pushing away the hounds and the Skin Wolves. Wow, this other Sun Dragon tries to take this other objective. Again, doesn't help at all with capture weight, so it needs to decisively win this engagement enough for the ground troops to be able to secure, but the champs just holding out like absolute champs. Definitely not giving that objective up easily, although the center objective here was seized by the High Elves, so Von Karstein now in a very good position. He's got more units on the field, he's up on army damage value, he's got objectives secured. So looking very strong right now, but let's see how its current year can respond. Not sure what was cast there in terms of spells, but not looking great. Norsca is making a little bit of a push, though. They've got a Chariot out here. Absolutely wild Marauder Chariot pick, rear charging into the Rangers here, trying to rout those Lothern Seaguard. I think the Seaguards were actually faced into them. But, yeah, Marauders just kind of holding here with the Chariots. Skin Wolves now moving in, so Marauders and Norsca just generally doing a really nice job of using that mobility and getting to those objectives and making sure to keep Von Karstein on the back foot in terms of objectives secured, right? They're pretty far down on army damage value, like 2,000 points is considerable, but yeah, let's see. This other far side objective here, though, the champs finally get closed down by the dragon and supporting units. Got the Pure Main Company in here, and these Marauder Spears are like, uh-oh, what are we doing over here again? I mean, certainly they'll be able to hold the objective momentarily, but nice flanking fire from those Lothern Seaguard there. And, yeah, just almost immediately they get routed. Pure Main Company moving in. The dragon should be able to rout this other unit and take that objective, so the High Elves have plenty of time to try and win here, but they definitely need to secure those objectives. Checking on some stuff over here. Okay. Yeah, the Skin Wolves here are getting routed pretty heavily, although the Marauders are able to kind of hold the objective. Looks like we've got some more War Lions here. I actually think War Lions, unironically, could be a decent unit in a lot of domination matchups. It's kind of a fast response. They're pretty expensive, but they're not too expensive. They also don't have Vanguard, but just that high speed, high damage against infantry makes them quite good for clearing out objectives weakly held. Like here, they just absolutely murder those Marauders in a hurry. So it's looking like potentially a triple cap for Von Karstein, and if that's the case, we might hit a little fast forward to try and get through the rest of this replay. A nice breath attack there on those Marauder Spearmen. Checking in on the Sun Dragon, 2,600 value. So although I said this thing can sometimes be a little bit of a meme pick, it certainly has done a lot of damage in this battle and has been able to more than pay for itself. Almost pay for itself twice. We'll see if it actually gets there, but tactically the terror routes have also been very good as well. So with the triple cap ongoing, let's go ahead and just kind of fast forward as its current year tries to get back in this game, but it's not looking great for him. Skinwolves are able to do okay, Marauders are able to get onto the objective and kind of hold it a little bit, but he just doesn't have enough units to be able to contest, and the units he does have are all fairly wounded. You can see he actually treating those wounded units, and now is less than half the units that the High Elves have on the field, not to mention 2 of those units for the High Elves are dragons. Even if they're Sun Dragons and one of them is very wounded, they are absolutely still dragons. So speaking of which, the one that finally routs, 27-28 on its final value there. Very impressive stuff, I have to say. The Prince also is probably going to get pretty good value, 25-82 on him. It's surrounded by Skinwolves in this late game. It's probably going to get killed. Norsca was able to briefly secure this center objective, but not going to be enough. High Elves managed to get it back and hang on for the win, most likely. I don't see Norsca getting out of this hole, but yep, gonna throw in the towel there. So the High Elves take a win, and Von Karstein picks up another point for Team Pineapple. That's right. He is on Team Pineapple. So let's go ahead and put that one in. And I just need to make sure I actually... Yes, okay, so I did do the right one in the last one. So back to even, which means now we're going to go to... the 2v2s. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's start with a 2v2 land battle. Or no, let's go domination. 2v2 domination. Why not? So Poison Ducky leading this side. Poison Ducky definitely on Team Pineapples. So let's see if he can take the win here. Okay. All right, and let's take a look here. We've got Nurgle and the Fecundites, which is just fantastic, against, yeah, the sort of Order Alliance, if you will, with Wood Elves and Empire. I see Balthazar Gelt over there. We've got Azazel leading the way here. Double Exalted Hero. Got the Great Unclean One, Uncle for Uncle. Plague Ridden. Herald of Nurgle. Yeah, Plague Ridden of Death. Herald of Nurgle. Chaos Knights of Nurgle. And another Plague Ridden of Death. So pretty much all full hero squad there for Nurgle. Got some Marauders here, got some Nurglings coming out. On the Order side, it looks like Balthazar Gelt and a bunch of melee infantry, along with some Treekin. Definitely smart, given the map. Not trying to take too many ranged units. There are some Glade Guards here. We also got the Knights of Immolation up in the sky, but yeah, those Warhounds going to get eaten up almost immediately by the Forest Alliance here. Empire smartly not really taking any ranged units or cavalry, just sticking mostly with the infantry, as this initial fight largely will probably play out in the forest. We'll see. Not really sure about that use of that spell there. It was quite a bit of Winds of Magic for, what's that spell? I actually forget the name of it, but anyway. Yeah, the hard snare there. Phantasmagoria, that's it. Yep. Really snare any units or accomplish much, so I'm not really sure about the point of that, but yeah, this Spellweaver is just having to run for life. Acquiescence and the fast speed of the Manticores allows the Exalted Heroes to catch up, not to mention Azazel himself. Will drop down here by the Knights of Immolation, straight into the Glade Guard as well, but oh man, here come the Demigryph Knights, yes! Straight out of reinforcements, Demi-Halberds. Right into the Knights of Immolation, and I actually don't think I've ever seen this direct combat in Melee before, so this is for me, but we're just going to watch this for a second here, as Knights of Immolation are probably one of the coolest looking units in the game. Demigryph Knights are also up there as well, so yeah, able to very easily dispatch those Knights, send them packing to the hills. Oh, my chat bugged out. Okay, gotta refresh that over here. Yes. Yes, looks like the melee engagement getting underway. Okay. And the hero squad is going to be pretty serious. A lot of single entities here for the Nurgle Alliance. Nice final transmutation, though, is going to hit a whole bunch. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 single entities. Not to mention the Nurglings will also take pretty significant damage from this. But, oh, man. Oh, Nurgle just getting a nasty, nasty Plague Breath there in response. So, Balthazar, Staff of Volans, just big old final transmutation. Didn't actually do all that much damage. I don't think it was actually overcast, but definitely pretty impressive. Demigryph Knights also finishing off the Knights of Immolation there. Doing just fine, but I'm not really sure. Empire Uncle Gant here is blobbing pretty heavily his stuff around this Mortis engine, I believe. No, does Uncle Furuncle actually have the Mortis engine? I don't think he does. Yeah, no, so it's fine. Not that much risk of it, other than for big blob nuke spells. But Stag Knights, oh yes. The monstrous cavalry. Stag Knights, I've been meaning to make a video about. I have some replays featuring them. I just haven't made the actual video yet, but Stag Knights are very good right now. So I love the double monstrous cavalry here from this alliance. Both Demis and Stag Knights riding out against the forces of chaos. Will it actually matter, though? Yeah, this Stag Knight just heavily over-penetrated into Nurgle and is definitely just disrupting and wrecking a lot of units, but we'll see. Right now, Wood Elves are very heavily focused, and the Empire on holding this objective number 3. Objective number 2 also is being held by them, but a little bit less strongly. The Knights of Nurgle getting in there against the Great Swords, while the Heroes of Nurgle try and defend their own kind of home objective, if you will. The massive hulking Knights of Nurgle fighting these regular human Great Swords. Imagine that. Your horse's butt is basically taller than your head. That is very impressive stuff, but they're going to get trapped up. Rear charge here by some Glade Riders, and the Knights of Nurgle actually suffering pretty badly in that engagement. The Demis also obviously getting involved with their anti-large bonus, actually dealing the damage. And just some forward disruption here by these Glade Riders and Treekins to keep Chaos kind of bottled up in this position here. Single entity fight ends up not really going great at the end of the day. The missile units do manage to get in. We get a nice concave of Starfire shafts, producing healing. Hellblaster volley gun as well. I think actually has line of sight issues right here, but we'll watch for the shots flying in. Oh no, it is getting some shots. Yeah, Uncle Furuncle falls to the fire of the Order Alliance. I like the Great Swords also just kind of staying in reserve right there to protect. A lot of value between, yeah, 2 Hellblasters and a bunch of Elven Archers there. Dryads also protecting. Nice swing to block here on these Marauder Horsemen. So, really good stuff by Gant and Big Rich here. Triple Stags replay versus Chorfs. Yeah. Yeah, I have 2v2 that's actually pretty decent that Falcon sent me, where he uses Stag Knights. Pretty good effect. I'll probably end up featuring that one. I also have one where I took Stag Knights plus Zotes against Kislev, but I'm not sure if I'll end up showing that one. It was pretty one-sided, so... anyway, Azazel and his flying squad have been able to stay relatively safe, and Chaos has also managed to hold out and build up enough value here at this objective number 3. They actually took the objective. They've got some chosen Hell Scourges in there. Extremely tanky unit that are going to be extremely tough to dislodge without massive AoE magic damage or something else to, you know, nuke them down without having to fight them in melee. Hellblaster obviously would be able to do it at a distance as well, but right now line of sight is blocked by the Treekin, having a mobile forest. And these Knights of Nurgle were also able to hold out for a very long time and keep a lot of value bottled up there as well, so... yes. Hellblaster's continuing to fire in. Azazel is... Oh, man, look at the burst damage on Azazel there. Wow. I forget how squishy he is, but when everything tries to kill him, he just falls over in a big hurry. The double Manticore Exalted Hero also drop. Dendrift Knights maybe could have tried to get a full surround on them. Got a Warrior Priest here providing some buffs on this pocket here. Got that melee attack buff, the damage resistance buff. But oof, those Dendrift Knights charge straight in. The Chosen of Slaanesh are now going to pin them in, and they're getting rear charged by double Manticore. So tough situation for these Demis. You see some Dryads reinforcing though. And Empire overall just continuing to pour units onto this objective, see if they can't seize it back. Right now, they're basically neck and neck, almost exactly even in terms of objective points. So, victory tickets, I should say. But, oh, Hounds able to sneak through on a tiny little gap. They get the Enfeebling Foe, though, so they're not really going to do a ton. And immediately the Demi-Halberds respond and should be able to crush them and see them off. Another big final transmutation comes down here as well. I think this is an overcast one. For how long it's lasting, probably is going to hopefully finish off the... no, maybe not overcast, actually. I don't know. But did a lot of damage to the Plague Ridden and the Herald here. Melkos on them as well, just to really try and finish off their leadership. Not really sure about that, but the Demis here were able to actually survive a little bit longer. They did manage to do some damage, but the Demi-Halberds, where did they go? That just chased off the Hounds there. Yeah, looks like they're maybe over-chasing a little bit, but they should really come forward and try and get on those Manticore dudes on the ground. But anyway, nice block with these Greatswords and Dryads to keep the Marauders away from this objective as long as possible. Still, though, the tankiness of the Nurgle units on this objective has been very high, and it's been super tough for the Empire and Wood Elves to dislodge them, so I'm just not sure. I mean, combined army damage value, Big Rich and Uncle Gant are severely out DPSing Poison, Ducky, and Geese here. But they're just not able to get the objectives, right? They took a lot of ranged units, which are not helping to secure these objectives right now, so results in a painful experience for sure in terms of not being able to actually get the job done, but we'll see. Yeah, some great swords. Way over chasing here into the back line. That's going to cost them pretty severely. Who knows? Maybe Gant and Rich could put together a push to try and get this objective number 1 here, since Nurgle seems to be investing so much into this central position here. It is a little bit heretical that he took Azazel with this build, I have to say. Poison Ducky, like, I get why, but also, like... I think you can take the Demon Prince of Nurgle with Warriors of Chaos, if I'm not mistaken, and if you're specifically looking for a Flying Lord, maybe that would have been just a little bit more thematic with this, but it's okay. I don't know. I think Slaanesh is mostly fine to play in land battles still. That you just requires really good cav micro, but I'll say it once. I've said it several times in this stream, and I'll continue saying it. Pineapple on pizza with barbecue sauce. Like, if you do a barbecue sauce-based pizza with pineapple, it is very good. Very, very good. Add some bacon in there. Use the chair squad. Oh, sorry, Geese. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm blaming you when it's actually Geese's fault. Oh, yeah. Anyway, the Heralded Nurgle does go down, but the Plague Ridden's still alive, and in general, the Nurgle Alliance is pushing pretty heavily here. They've got, actually, momentarily, all 3 objectives secured, and just the number of units they have on the field is less somehow, but it feels like it's more, again, because of so much range focus from the Order Alliance, and, I mean, that range focus has allowed them to trade damage very well, but looks like the Knights of Immolation are back for some fun, having been fully replenished. And, yeah, it's just, I think the Order forces are going to really struggle to get any objectives actually secured here. Again, over-chasing pretty severely with these Greatswords is definitely a mistake for Gant, but we'll see. The backline pressure is also pretty significant at this point. Knights of Immolation moving in. We've got mortar wagons in here. Wow, that is an ultra Chad pick. Yeah, they're looking just fine right now. They've got all 3 objectives secured. Yeah, they're getting out DPS still, but battlefield control-wise, they've got a lot of stuff on the field. And the Empire Wood Elves Alliance, surprisingly, doesn't have that much mobility to really try and get in quickly and punish them. Like, we do have the Stag Knights and the Demigryph Knights, but right now they're still trying to be used to defend this backline with so many skirmishers, so I don't know. I mean, obviously the skirmishers were essential in killing certain key units, but I think probably just teching in a little bit more melee here would have been beneficial, but anyway. Get them killed straight away again. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, it's looking like the Chaos Forces will prevail, as the Order side, despite winning heavily on army damage value, if this was a land battle, they definitely would have won, just wasn't quite able to secure those objectives in time, resulting in a victory for the Nurgle Bros. So, yeah, Poison Ducky gets a win for Team Pineapple, and that will boost them on up. Still neck and neck, though, on the overall competition for the day. So, yeah, let's quickly run through the values here. Nurgle, I mean, the Nurgle Knights, actually, I think they were summoned a couple times. I don't know if they're exactly cost-effective, but they do decently enough. Poison Warhounds, of course, absolutely fantastic. But really, it was just about tanking damage more than anything for the Nurgle Bros here. For the Warriors, they got some decent value on some of the Manticore characters. Azazel was kind of a little bit of a trap. I guess he was casting spells, which is decent for support. Chosen Hellscourgers, though, super underrated. Being healed by Nurgle spells and such makes it super strong. I mean, they're an incredibly tanky unit already. With healing on top, just makes that much more ridiculous. So, yeah, very strong for holding objectives for sure. And for the Order side, I mean, that initial push was really nice. They had some great responses, but it's a little bit of an overinvestment in ranged tools, I think. They probably just needed more melee. Even like, you know, like Eternal Guards with spears and other cheap melee units would have been pretty beneficial. But of course, gotta admire the Chad pick of Balthazar 5 Greatswords. Balthazar himself is actually pretty good right now. Lower metal, I'm definitely a fan of. He gets some insane value. Demigryph Knights also, man. Demigryph Knights halberds especially got 3,400 value. It's one of the best performances I've seen out of them in a very long time. Regular Demigryph Knights also perform pretty nicely. Hellblaster, a little bit of a mixed bag, but the one does okay. But yeah, again, just these crossbows, I would probably swap all out for just cheap swordsmen. 1-to-1, more or less. But anyway, that's that domination game. Let's go on and get to the next game here. 2v2, a land battle. And this time it's Tzeentch and Skaven versus Vampires and Kislev. So let's get to it. Hey, what's up, Falcon? That's 6 of a currency symbol that I have never seen before, but I'm gonna guess is that what, shekels? Yes, thank you though. No one likes pineapple pizza. No one. That's not true. I do. But again, only with barbecue sauce. So someday, Falcon, when you come to America, someday I will have you sample a barbecue pineapple bacon pizza, and you'll realize that it's actually pretty good, hopefully, or you'll spit it straight out, which is also fine too. But anyway, let's take a look at these 2v2 builds before the chaos ensues. A couple of wolf rats over there on the far side for the Skaven. We've got a bunch of Forsaken through the main line here, backed up by rat ogres. Some gold chevron rank 9 aspiring champs, which is an ultra Chad pick for sure. Village to back them up. Got a War Shrine of Tzeentch. It's an interesting pick. You don't see it super often, but it does give spell mastery. And, you know, I've actually never seen this tried, but it makes sense on paper that you can stack the spell mastery that Village gets from his thing, right? Yeah, from his Twisted Twin up to 20%. Could stack that 40% with the Shrine for a lot of potential extra damage on spells, but yeah, anyway, for the rest here, for the Skaven, we've got... It's Shekels, you know it. More Pineapple Pizza Spits. Ikit Claw, Packmaster, Brood Horror, Doom Flayers, a couple of them. Well, I appreciate the tips, Falcon, for sure. And, yeah, maybe I'll make you try a Buffalo Chicken Pizza, too, when you're here. Because that is also deliciously American. Wolf Rats, we've got, yeah, that's basically it. On this other side here, big old wide horde. Kislev coming in hot with bears. With Patriarch and Ice Witch, we've got 2 heavy bear chariots. The Frozen Heart, ROR Big Bear. We've got Horse Archers here, Dire Pack, Kossars in a main line, backing up Cryptors, rather. Oh, it's a Ghoul build. I see. Strigoi Ghoul King, all the beasts. We've got, yeah, Crypt Ghouls and Vargeist and just overall ghouls. So let's get to it here as the Wolf Rats desperately try and get back to support. Hope for no draw, then it's Pineapple Pizza win. Yeah, okay, that's fair. We'll hope for one side to win over the other. Otherwise, it is Pineapple Pizza. Which is probably the most divisive possible outcome, right? Yes. Yes, yes. Let's see here. Together forever, like they were meant to win. Oh, let's see here. This big flying force is trying to dive the Knights of Immolation, but it looks like they're going to hard land amongst the aspiring champs. Will the vampires still take the bait, though, is the question. Ooh, did they briefly pop back up into the air? Interesting. Okay. They now have a landing timer before they can try and hard land again. So a little bit of a mistake, perhaps, but we'll see. Is Zatar on the flatbread considered pizza? You know, whatever you want to be pizza is pizza. That's the American way. Yep, he was Canadian. It's true. Pineapple on pizza was invented by a Canadian. Yes. And he called it Hawaiian pizza, which is the best part, for sure. But, yeah. Canadian bacon is just ham. It's just a fancy way for saying ham. So, yeah. Canadians just think they're special and they need a special name for bacon. You know, they like to pretend like, oh, we're so polite, eh? But really, on the inside, they're most evil. Yep, just ham. Anyway, here comes the melee engagement. The Crypt Horror is going to get in here. And the thing about Villages and the Shrine's sort of ability, right, is I think it's based on kill intensity. His is just time spent in melee. Okay. But others are definitely based on kills. But look at how well the Forsaken trade 1-to-1 versus the Crypt Horrors. That was kind of insane, to be honest. I mean, Crypt Horrors obviously most of the time are going to have zombie support, but I'm very surprised at how well the Forsaken were able to just trade there. I mean, here it's going maybe not quite as well, but very interesting stuff so far. I've got spells popping off all over the field, doing big AoE magic bursts. Kislev archers also form a little bit of a concave, but they're going to start to get pressured immediately as the Crypt Horrors start to buckle. The Bear Squad also a little bit late coming in. I've lost track of the chariots. They're here somewhere. Doom Flayers are also here. Reckon some Kossars. Oh, here comes the chariots. Looks like they're trying to counteract the Doom Flayers. Maybe play bumper cars with them. Not sure about that, especially when you've got this huge penetration over on this side. Knights of Immolation. Wolf Rats getting in here, just wrecking these Kossars. And, yeah, for Heart of the Frozen Winter also going to get surrounded here by the Rat Ogres, but should be able to hold out at least for some time. It's going to pop its little AoE bound Heart of Winter, which will do some damage for sure. Not going to do an insane amount of damage, but it will do some damage. These aspiring champs taking some hits as well. Focus fire from the Kossars, but their armor should be able to help them withstand that. Doom Flayer is obviously more than destroyed by that blob of stuff, but sets up a nice Flensing Ruin for a good old Ikit. And Skaven build, it's doing okay. I don't get the army damage values in land battles, so we don't get to see how much damage each side is doing and taking, but right now it's looking pretty decent for the Chaotic Alliance versus Ulrika's folks. Yeah, right now Chaos is pressing on a lot of fronts. They're able to disrupt, and the Empire build, although very loreful, was not particularly strong. Blizzard going to be popped down in here, though. It's going to hit a huge blob of Chaos stuff. I mean, in terms of multi-model units here to hurt, it's really just the Knights of Immolation and the Forsaken that were there, which definitely makes sense. It's going to do a tiny bit of damage to the single entities, but really not much. Final Transmutation, obviously, they don't have access to, but it would be a very good spell to have in that situation for sure. Anyway. Yeah, Aspiring Champs also still continuing to just chad through, and Ghouls are able to somewhat secure a pocket right here, though, and it looks like I've got some Horse Archers for Kislev. Dire Pack also kind of hanging around right there. Let's see, it looks like another Heart of Winter also going to be popped for the Big Bear. And, yeah, the Halberd unit here, the Severed Claw. Regiment are now in Aspiring Champs. Oh, excuse me. They're going to do a great job of just shredding any large units that come close. So this is a pretty bad situation. Flensing Ruin just to really put the nail in the coffin here for the Bear Bros. Patriarch trying his best to heal, but he is going to get bursted down and killed. And with that, the Chaos Alliance is looking pretty good. I don't know, the Concave of Kossars, though, is not giving up, and they still have a lot of unit models and a lot of ammunition online, so balance of power showing slightly in Chaos favor, but let's see. Another Howling Warp Gale there to lock down the Devils of Schwarzhofen. A few of them that are stuck on the ground are going to get severely damaged, but once they're dead, I mean, the rest of the unit models are all stuck up in the air, right? So they're not going to be able to be hit. As the Chaotic Alliance lacks ranged units, Knights of Immolation charge down and are going to get rear charged by said Vargeis. They haven't quite paid for themselves, which is a little painful, but it is what it is. They did okay. Village Aspiring Champs are invincible. Yeah, more or less in melee. I mean, they certainly can be killed by concentrated shooting, but yes. Especially against a faction like Vampire Counts, where they pretty much have to fight you in melee. The key for them is to snipe a Village so that he can't just keep regenerating the Aspiring Claws. Aspiring White Claws. So Canada and Heresy is synonymous now. Yes, it's true. Everyone knows that the Taint of Chaos started up in the north and spread from Canada to the United States and corrupted us to enjoy the evil pleasures of pineapple on pizza. That is correct. Although certainly I, for one, have accepted our Lord and Savior of pineapple on pizza, and even, I would say, enjoy the syncretic beliefs of American and Canadian culture, which state that pineapple on pizza is great with barbecue sauce, as I have said. So, it's looking pretty good right now for Chaos, although Morskatar's Hellion did just fall down, but he's fine, don't worry. He still has mostly full HP, he just fell down for no reason. Tripped and fell over a stone. Definitely. Anyway. Yeah, I'll probably fast forward a little bit through this end phase as the Chaotic Alliance tries to chase down what remains of the Kossars. We do have the Bear Chariots kind of covering in support here, but yeah, the Chaos War Shrine of Tzeentch and Village. Let's just see here. Village's Spell Mastery. So he's only got 3% from that, and he does have a full 20% from the Giver of Glory, because this one actually I think is a map-wide effect, right? Its units die, yeah, it is map-wide to all casters, so any units that die map-wide will charge this thing up, so it's, in a 2v2 situation like this, actually makes a lot of sense why you would want it, but let's Skaven, Chaos are just having to rely on their mobility to try and chase units, and then kind of follow up with the slow Tzeentchian pocket. But certainly the Packmaster and this Brood Horror here and Mutant Rat Ogre all have more than enough speed to continue chasing, getting after those units. So this will take some time, but if American culture is pineapple pizza, it's low. Yeah. A lot of people would say that they're not the biggest fans of American food culture. I disagree. I think American food culture is fantastic. As an enjoyer of barbecue and buffalo and those types of flavors, definitely enjoy American cuisine. But actually, it's taking a surprisingly long amount of time. Thankfully, Village and his squad are kind of just securing the point right now, as this is, of course, land battles with caps. They can just basically stand on the point and dare the Kossars to shoot them for the next minute or so, because it would... Yeah, I mean, it's just going to result in their win either way, so... Can't say I've ever seen that, but that does sound interesting. I'm gonna be honest, pretty much any food as a topping for pizza wouldn't surprise me. Just had some tasty barbecue for the lunch. Yum. Yum, yum. It's pretty good. It's different for sure. It is very different, so it's hard to really compare, but I personally am a huge fan. Yeah, and well, and a lot of pizza places here too will serve like buffalo wings, right? So they already have the buffalo sauce on hand. It's pretty easy to just get a buffalo pizza, but anyway, all chaotic pizza aside, Poison Ducky was able to reclaim alongside Geese a point for Team Pizza, so far we're on pace for a draw, guys. But things are heating up for sure. Ikit gets 3,000 damage value on himself there. Pretty good stuff overall. And Uncle Gant here also gets some pretty good value on his Var guys. Some of the Crypt Horrors, some of them get shredded by Forsaken though, which was pretty interesting. Ice Witch also gets some great value. Heavy Warslets get some great value. The Frozen Heart of Winter does a nice job also. Pretty good overall. Ooh, a Euro pizza. That sounds really good. Sounds really good. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I do have time to get through a few more. We probably will be able to get through all these, but we'll see. I'm still not 100% certain. There's a small chance I might have to run before and finish in a part 2 tomorrow. I'm a potato at planning. But anyway, let's go for Solo Spaghetto. So Spaghetto, of course, is loosely related to pizza, and confusingly enough, is actually... Oh, no, he is fighting for Team Pizza, so that's great. Yes. So, Solo Spaghetto here, fighting against World Beater, who is on the side of Pineapple. We've got Kislev versus Lizardmen, and the Kislev build's looking very bear-heavy. We've got Boris, Oath Brothers, and the Patriarch. I've got the Elemental Bear here, just a regular one. Some Zargard, one Streltsy, 4 Zargard in a box, and Ice Maiden, just fantastic. On this map here, for the Lizardmen, we've got Feral Cold Ones. Leading the way is a Life Slan. Oh yes, the Shredder. And then some Croc Scores, including the cohort of Waddle to support. And Skink Cohorts as a front line. Makes sense to go that cheap. I mean, you can't really go with much else, so anyway. Ducky is Team Pineapple. Okay, well, either way, it was a one-to-one trade on the last one. Right? Right? Am I wrong about that? Anyway, I'll go double-check after this game. But I believe that's correct. Chaotic Blasphemy is the new Elden Ring sword, and whoever came up with the new team names is a heretic. Yes. Yes, it is. So I'll go and double check I have the scores correctly after this, but let's continue on for the time being. Elemental Bear are going to duke it out with the Shredder just straight face-to-face in melee. It's never going to be a good time for the Elemental Bear, but let's check out this Kaiju battle up close. It's not a Kaiju battle I think I've actually seen yet, so... They actually have kind of similar-ish animation sets, believe it or not. Oh, nice little matched animation-looking thing there. But Boris is going to charge in with his Oath Brothers, try and swing this fight with that anti-large damage. We should get Shield of the Old Ones, Core to Quaddle, piling in for the Lizardmen. So both sides escalating this fight pretty heavily. There's a lot of value tied up here on both sides. Hard to say who's winning, but Zargard are supporting on one side for infantry and just Skinks on the other side, so that should be interesting. Skinks plus Croc scores also crash into the Zargards here in different areas. Should be a pretty good engagement for Lizards initially, but the Streltsy do have line of fire to shoot the Shredder, which is a problem. Definitely a problem here. A little bit of Earthblood, though, on the side of the Slaanesh, and this is a little bit of a problem. The Bear actually disengages from the Shredder and is going to head to the back line, try and fight the Slaanesh, at least momentarily. Shredder could always detach and come back. Yes, it's won it all so far. Good job. Exactly. Looks like some Feral Cold Ones charging in here to try and just assist the Slaanesh, kind of screen for him a little bit here. We're getting the Heart of Winter. Big old cast on this area. Should do some really nice damage to the Skinks. Not so much to the rock scores, but Shredder just runs to the back line to murder the Streltsy. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Streltsy are one of the main threats here, and, you know, believe it or not, this Slaanesh is actually not trading terribly against the bear here. I think because some of the bear's attacks are actually going into Feral Cold Ones rather than the Slaanesh itself. The Slaanesh has been trading okay, but now starts to take some really big hits. We also see a mass bombardment from the Oath Brothers, and now the Shard Blade from Boris rocks a big terror out here for all these Skinks, and they just absolutely run away, which leaves the Croc scores without too much support, but at least there's the two Croc scores here. Skinks come back relatively quickly, and the Shredder also comes to play. Meanwhile, here, these Feral Cold Ones chasing down the Streltsy, super cost-effective use of them. But yeah, that Heart of Winter actually fully swung this fight back in favor of Kislev, with the Zargard being able to hold out, and might still lose one engagement here to this unit of Croc scores, but overall, very, very good. You know, Falcon, you can keep distracting me all day as much as you would like. Oh, yeah, it is definitely is a great idea. Hopefully I'll get the chance to be a part of that someday. Mostly just because I would want to go eat there all the time, but Ice Bear is getting sporked. Yeah, he is. He is just getting slapped in the butt by lots of lizards. It is kind of funny how all the lizards have like pro slapping implements. Like, I mean, I guess all swords are also good slappers if you hit them on the flat side, but like these paddles especially, you hit them with the flat of that would be quite painful. I know it's really an axe, not a paddle, but anyway. Oh, yes. Oath Brother's going to call down another bombardment, but the Shredder's been able to hold out just fine. The Shredder plus the Core to Quaddle is a super expensive spend, but it is very strong in melee. Definitely has a lot of stopping power in melee and probably be able to outgrind a lot of melee blobs, if I had to guess. Like, I might actually just steal this Lizardman build, because although on paper it might have some meme elements, it actually seems really strong in practice with certain things about it, definitely. But another Shard Blade from Boris here. Oath Brothers also getting finished off as the Patriarch is isolated away from them. He can't heal them, and the Patriarch's just getting, I mean, he is still healing the bear, but getting, again, DPS down by the Slaanesh, which is never a good place to be in. Taking some hits from the Feral Cold Ones in the side and the rear. So this battle Slaanesh here straight up has been fighting it out in melee for most of the time and has actually been getting some really nice value. Yes, Crocs are definitely functional, and I would even say Crocs are maybe the meta right now for Lizardmen in a lot of matchups. Slaanesh has got almost 700 value just fighting in melee here this whole time, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah, Crocs are definitely better than they've ever been right now. This is the best patch for Crocsgoers by far. Both types are viable. I haven't really tried Nakai much in this patch, or the Crocsgoer Other Lord, the generic one, but they probably are decent. I don't know. Probably still not the meta by any means when you have Slaanes, but yeah, Crocsgoers as units, though, definitely seeing a massive resurgence, and the last single entity blob of Kislev is being slowly but surely grinded down by the Lizardmen. Horde of Waddle hanging around, even though they're quite damaged. That Cold-Blooded is keeping their leadership up, keeping them from Rampage. They don't really have Rampage anyway, do they? Oh, no, they do. Primal Instincts no longer rampages, that's right. Ice Bearer, yeah, got a lot of healing. Didn't quite get to its healing cap, though. The Patriarch did. Boris is still pretty far off from his healing cap, though, which is definitely painful. Had the Patriarch been able to heal him more throughout the course of the battle, maybe that would have swung things. Slaanesh gets finished off there in that little fire. Very cinematic shot of the Slaanesh chair just in the burning ruins. You know what, actually? I'm going to go ahead and just get a quick screenshot of that. Maybe from this angle over here. As the Shredder fights it out in the back line with what's left of Kislev. I'm going to grab a couple screenshots just for fun. But, yeah, the Shredder definitely be able to finish off these three. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a small possibility that somehow it just loses leadership randomly against these three single entities. But I don't think, especially with the unit of Crocsgoers nearby and with how much HP it still has. Yeah, finishes off the bear there. Boris is next on the menu. Or the Patriarch. Yeah, either one of them. Yep, there goes Boris. And that's going to be it. So, what a game, man. Quite the melee grind. But I like this build from World Beater a lot. Slaanesh ultimately pays the price, but 5,000 damage value on the Shredder of Lustria is absolutely fantastic. Horde of Waddle also got 3,293 damage value. Regular Crocsgoers, 1322 and 819, so they pay themselves. You average them out, and then the other one, 1514. So yeah, all the heavies for the Lizardmen did really good. And then very cost-effective use of the Feral Cold ones as well to chase the Streltsy off. And then Skink Cohort, mostly just here for support, but some of them get some pretty good value as well. For the Kislev side, I would also expect pretty good values across the board, considering the healing that was done for the Lizardmen. Zargards, though, I think was where he kind of lost it. I honestly think, had he gone with maybe even Zargard Great Weapons, even though they're anti-infantry, that extra armor-piercing damage would definitely have helped. Or even Kossar Great Weapons, I think, might be good in this type of situation. But obviously, you can't guess that World Beater is going to go all in on a melee build. You probably want to have some defensiveness against missiles, so it makes sense to have some shields at least. Anyway, that's it for that game. Let's go on and get to the next game between these two. Now we've got Domination Greenskins versus Vampire Coast. Grimgore with triple Boar Boys, Boar Biggins rather, and 4 Savage Boar Boys. We've got Durkit Squigs and Spider. And then on World Beater side, it's Artillery Fest with triple Mortar, a Carronade, Giant Crab, probably double Giant Crab, I would guess, with the Mount on Silostra. Yep, and then a Caster. Yeah, to be fair, that build was almost the best case scenario for Crocsgoers. True. Very, very true. So, anyway, as this is a domination game and it will take some extra time, we're going to fast forward through this initial phase. As they start to deploy various units, we see some Sirens come out for Coast. And what else? Both players just kind of banking their value for the time being. Here come the boars. Oh yeah, immediately gonna see the summon of crabs from Silostra. And both of the crabs just fighting it out with boars initially, which I'm not sure how well this is going to go for them. The armor-piercing damage of the boars, anti-large of the biggins, is fairly significant, but I guess they're just trying to forward defend from their artillery, of which they have brought a lot, and the boars are going to pretty easily be able to penetrate through and take some losses on the approach, of course, but yeah, no question the artillery of Vampire Coast is going to get eaten in a big hurry. I do see some bombers coming out from deployment, though, and some sirens, so pretty strong push combination. Should be able to start to terrify away some of the Greenskins, but yeah, the artillery pocket just gets shut down immediately, and that's going to put Spaghetto up pretty significantly on the... I forgot to update the scoreboard last time, which is a mistake for sure. I remember, though, Spaghetto is on Team Pizza, so we'll go ahead and give him a point there. But so far, Spaghetto's looking pretty good on this one also. And yeah, Grimgor moves in to just smash Silostra, who's unable to escape from the boars, despite another crab summon here, is getting completely crumped, and that's going to be a huge amount of value down almost immediately for Vampire Coast. Yeah, Solo Spaghetto now going up like 5,000, sorry, I can math. Yeah, 5,000 damage value. Yeah, pretty much. Just about. So that's very impressive, honestly, for this early of a phase. Oh yes, Shredder was very good for sure. But the Greenskins also looking very good. I mean, I don't want to call it too early for World Beater, but Spaghetto looking pretty strong right now. Wait, what? Okay. I'm confusing myself, guys, so yes. Okay, so Spaghetto wins that one. Sorry, let me just double check. I think I'm confusing myself here. So, yeah, that's right. World Beater won the last one, so it's back to even. So, yeah. Okay. As long as we end up in the right place, right? Yes. Yes. So, basically back to dead even. And next up, we go to Ronin versus Park Map. Let me make sure I get the teams actually right this time. Ronin, of course, is on Team Pizza. Park Map will go Team Pineapple. So let's get to it. Pineapple Cathay. Triple Longmas. Wow. Triple Longma riders, including the ROR. Triple Jade Lancers as well. So very much a mobile-centric build for Cathay. We've got Zhao here, also supporting. Ronin coming in with Tzeentch, of course. Who else would there be for the Skaven? We've got two Death Runners. We've got some Gutter Runners. Got some Triads. So it's like an Eshin kind of themed build with Tzeentch and with Gorich. Yeah, Eshin Sorcerer as well. So cool stuff for sure. Is it supposed to be 2 to 6 poison? I thought you guys traded 1-to-1 on your series. Did you guys not trade 1-to-1 on your series? I'm pretty sure you did. I just went and double checked, but... yeah, Gorich is not a meme. No, Gorich is very, very strong. Yeah, Gorich is very strong. Yes, anyway, I'll go through and actually, like, because I guess I'm just very much confusing myself. So I'll go through and just retally the scores after this. We'll just go on a little break because I need to rest my voice anyway. Easton, you won both your matches. Okay, so I'll have to go, like, recheck those and just make sure I have the score correct because apparently I'm just an idiot. But anyway, yeah. So, got the Triads moving in here now. Jade Lancers getting heavily debuffed are going to take some significant damage from the Gutter Runner fire. We're also going to see the spell here on the Iron Hail Gunners. Is it the actual damaging spell? Doesn't really do that much at the end of the day, especially because they're able to mostly dodge it. But big map-wide Skaven push ongoing here. Zhao's going to try and push back some of these Death Runners. And they definitely have the speed to avoid that spell for the most part. Pretty much just hits the cheap chaff, but where are the Longmas? Okay, so most of the Longmas have been deployed on... yeah. They're going to be deployed on these units here. The Triads trading very cost-effectively probably right now, but they are going to be end up losing out. Yeah, look at the damage dealt, gold value. Pretty good stuff so far. Trading decently cost-effective. They've just about paid for themselves. And yeah, the cavalry just pursuing heavily these light Eshin units is going to punish them pretty badly. Zhao already in the transform. Let's see, on his spell kit, what did he actually bring? Dragon's Breath is super efficient to be casting against Skaven infantry. I feel like the damage is not as good as it used to be, but anyway. What's happening? So, Skaven have quite a lot of Unimodels left on the field, and despite the kind of rush ongoing, penetrating some of those missile units, they are grinding down a lot of Cathay's stuff. Like, pretty much all their infantry is going to get ground down here, and the Peasant Long Spears won't really contribute anything against this build. Zhao certainly is going to be a pain to deal with, but the fact that there's so many Triads here with their supporting units means that the cavalry of Cathay could have a tough time. I don't know, Gorich being isolated here, though, is a little bit of a problem. He does have the Ix's Triads nearby to perhaps come support, but there's nothing really to punish Gorich for his isolation. But we'll see here. Yes, the Jade Lancers and Longma Riders also continuing to ride out and just try and find good targets to go after, try and punish those ranged units. I mean, it makes sense to a degree, but I might wheel around for a quick rear charge on those Death Runners, just to try and shut them down too. I mean, you'll take a little bit of damage in response, but they are very threatening to all of the infantry for Cathay, obviously. Let's see here, these Triads going to now eat a double charge from multiple angles. Jade Lancers, Longmas do get hit, though, and again, that Weeping Blade contact effect, debuffing their armor by half, means the fire from these Gutter Runners with poison will do a lot of damage to them. It's a very old interaction, one of the original kind of good synergies for Skaven armor debuffing before they had a lot of armor-piercing troops. Very strong, and it's definitely punishing Cathay pretty heavily here. So let's see here. Yes, Righteous Lances continuing to hold out. They've got pretty good leadership still, all things considered. And 49 melee defense against only 32 attack for Death Runners in melee. They're not going to be taking a lot of hits here. Yeah, like I'm just watching their HP pool. They're taking very few hits overall, so might actually be able to win out on that engagement. But Gorich, Cathay really doesn't have anything that can kill Gorich at this point. Like, Final Transmutation on Zhao Ming can be quite strong, but I don't think he even has it necessarily in this build, so yeah. I didn't realize he even had this. Hardened Scale, so 30-second ward save that goes off once, and if he is flying less than 25% HP. That's weird. Didn't even realize that was a thing. How long have I been playing this game? Anyway. Yeah, the mobility of the Longma Riders has been really nice, though, so far. They have managed to kind of pull this back towards even. They've been able to shut down and finish off a lot of these weakened Skaven units, and just like Pegasus Knights with maximum mobility, they can try and come back from a bad situation by just punishing isolation, which they have been able to do to a pretty broad degree. Let's see if they can continue on. Yeah, this one unfortunately gets routed in the woods there. Jade Lancer's having a tough time. Zhao still has quite a bit of HP left, but Gorich really doesn't fear him too much, I don't think. Let's see, how much HP do they each have? Gorich has about 6,000. Yeah, Zhao's less than half that, so... The Rat Marine here, Scrap Rat, getting ready for a charge. Gets a big old Power Claw attack. Zhao kind of circling around him, doing some fancy attack animations. Showering him in coins. What was that attack that Meowth has that, like, showers you in coins and gives you money? I forget, but anyway. Random Dov praising message. Hey, thanks, Velcon. Much appreciated. A little bit of magic missile there from the Eshin Sorcerer. And yeah, Gorich is unstoppable at this point. So let's fast forward through this, as this endgame phase could take some time. Especially as the balloon cannot land. And the Skaven don't have any ranged units to kill the balloon, so I'm not sure what's going to happen at this point, honestly. But it definitely seems pretty hopeless. The Eshin Sorcerer is actually chasing Zhao around here, trying to assassinate him. Does manage to get into combat with him there. Maybe cast a little pew-pew magic missiles. Gorich and Tzeentch together holding out against the world. Longmas can try their best, and they'll do some damage, but Gorich's attacks there are just so good. And he does manage to finish that. Zhao also, will he actually beat the... Oh, man. He gets a transform. Actually beats the Eshin Sorcerer in melee, so this will continue for some time. We also got this one unit of Peasant Long Spears. It immediately gets terrified by Gorich. Here we go. Final stand. Oh, yes. Much appreciated. There goes... Yes. Zhao's dead. I don't know if that's going to be enough leadership damage to actually rout the balloon, though. Let's see. Or are we going to have to wait till the Skaven win on victory tickets? I mean, the Skaven have definitely won regardless, but there's no army losses, so I guess we just wait for the Lantern to lose leadership by not having any units left on the ground. Oh, no, it's dying to the Mortis effect. I forget in this... I think the capture point, does it have like a small Mortis effect? I wish Gojira were here. Yeah, here we go. Flyers must land to contest enemy flags. So if you're flying nearby, you'll actually get damage continuously from the objective here, which is basically a way to prevent situations like this from happening. Anyway. Kind of a silly ending there, but Park Map able to win one for Team Pineapple. Yes. Yes, just making sure I get it right. Yes, so Team Pineapple gets another one, and let me just quickly go double check these other games here. So these 2v2s. Oh, well, right you are, Poison Ducky. So I actually need to award you guys 2 points. Because it should be, yeah, it should be 5-3 right now, which means it will go to 6-3. So my apologies for the scorekeeping errors, but we got it corrected now. And we can move on to Domination with Park Map's Pineapple Greenskins versus Ronin's Pizza Khorne. Or Khorne Pizza, rather. What? Oh my gosh. I'm so confused, guys. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm wrong again, and it's actually 4-5. Whatever. I'll just go based off of what you guys are saying and just stop keeping score myself, because apparently I can only screw it up because I'm actually an idiot and can't read. But anyway. We'll fast forward because Domination's kind of boring in the initial phase. We've got Azag the Slaughterer here, Rogue Idol, Goblins, and some Black Orcs up front with the Crimson Killers. Orc, Boarboy Biggins. And anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. For the Khorne here, we've got Spirit Leech, mostly useless on the Herald there, as he's got tons of magic resistance. Blood Shrine also, some dual hand weapon warriors up front, 2 skull cannons, looks like Bloodletters coming in. So yeah, we'll continue to fast forward until we actually get to the action, because again, Domination is the least exciting game mode. So, here we go. I do appreciate how these guys are playing Domination, though. They are not just standing still and building up armies for 10 minutes, which is definitely the least fun part of Domination, along with Lord Unsummoning. But, oh yeah, dual hand weapon warriors of Khorne getting in there against the Black Orcs. Should be taking some massive armor-piercing damage to the face. I actually have no idea. Yeah, I'd imagine this trade goes pretty badly for them. But we'll see. Looks like the Shrine Herald getting in here, getting on those Crimson Killers, should be doing some pretty good damage to them. The Rogue Idol also, Khorne doesn't seem to have a great answer for at the moment. Greenskins definitely are just crumping in melee right now against the Khorne bros, which is tough, but we'll see. See how it gets on here. Yeah, Azag just straight in with the Ard armor, up to 50 melee defense on Orc Boarboy Biggins. That is very substantial for sure. They're not going to be taking any damage at all from the Skull Cannons and should be able to finish them off no problem. That said, the Crimson Killers kind of overshoot a little bit, and they are fully surrounded by dual hand weapon warriors, not to mention getting rear charged by an armor-piercing chariot, which is not going to be a comfortable situation for them. Yeah, definitely taking a lot of damage here, but yes. Yeah, I don't know how to count, guys. I worked at a bank, but I have no idea.
We have a victory point. Keep it from the foe.
Yeah. This Greenskins build, I mean, just going for a full melee smash. I don't know, who normally wins Greenskins versus Khorne? I feel like Greenskins is a little bit better, but Khorne Minotaurs, like, what do Greenskins have that can actually kill Khorne Minotaurs? I mean, I guess just massive amounts of stuff, right? Like, just Swarm, but yeah, I have no idea. In Domination, I have no idea who wins this on a consistent basis. My gut instinct says Greenskins, just because they have more flexibility and still have the ability to contest Khorne in melee. A lot of other factions cannot. For example, the Knights of the Brazen Throne come out here and try and charge in, but immediately are met with Savage Boar Boy Biggins and Black Orcs in melee. Savage Boar Biggins in particular are going to trade extremely cost-effective against the Knights of the Brazen Throne here. Yeah, they've got 48 melee attack with the Slag of Slashes and Fury with a +5 bonus versus large, so they can get past that 50 melee defense, no problem. Of course, they're going to be taking serious damage in return, but yeah, in land battles, Greenskins can kite to a degree. I mean, if Khorne goes full armor, your kite's not going to do anything because you don't really have armor-piercing missiles. But yeah, it's an interesting one for sure. Right now, Green Tide Park Map is up very heavily on value and also on objective control, but we'll see. Looks like another Spirit Leech there. I said it was useless against the Herald of Khorne because of his spell resistance. I guess it's not completely useless. It's only 25% spell resistance, and over the course of a long game, as long as he can't regenerate too much HP, it should be able to finish him off here, as is the case. Let's see here. Looking good so far. Azag gonna rear charge in here. Knights of the Brazen Throne have just about run out of steam. Another big buff of Azag's Ard armor. And 48 melee defense on those Savage Biggins even. It's just fantastic. Even against Khorne's high attack, that's good enough to really make a difference and prevent from taking too much damage. Yes. Looking good. Looking good, although some of the boars are starting to get routed off. We see also that Ronan's starting to retreat some of his dual hand weapon warriors, but another Spirit Leech there on the Herald of Khorne. Get some squigs moving in for some nice, efficient, cheap armor-piercing damage against the dual hand weapon warriors. Fleshhounds also just about out of this world, so looking pretty good for the Green Tide right now. Got mangy Marauders moving in. Squig Hoppers moving in to counteract the Forsaken, although it looks like some Marauder Horsemen and Poison Warhounds, or rather Chaos Warhounds of Khorne, of course, emerge. Unfortunately, they do count as infantry and will get punished fairly heavily by the Squig Hoppers initially, but then the Khorne Horsemen will countercharge in, and their own high charge bonus and high weapon strength should be able to just murderize the Squigs. Yeah, those Squig Hoppers get killed pretty quickly. No surprises there. Wish Greenskins got Feral Wyverns. Yeah, it would be nice, for sure, for them to get Feral Wyverns properly in multiplayer. But right now, things are nice and even in terms of victory tickets, but Greenskins definitely have much superior damage and battlefield control. So we may fast forward a little bit through this sort of skirmish reorganization phase as the Spider Riders and Goblins are able to deal with Khorne Horsemen there. Forsaken also getting charged by Squigs in the face and just generally disrupted. Super cost-effective trade for those Squigs. 2v1 is like the same cost, even less, I should say, than the Khorne Forsaken. So, yeah, not looking great for Khorne right now. Park Map pretty much just gets a full tabling of Ronan's build here, just about, and that is going to be pretty much completely hopeless, but yeah, Stoneboy and Black Orcs versus dual hand weapon warriors is a pretty bad day for Khorne for sure. Not to mention the boars and Azag also. Nice pick, actually. Azag, obviously going to be vulnerable to somebody like Valkia, but I just really like him in most matchups right now, to be honest. Yep. So Park Map gets that one, and that's going to put another point for Pizza. Or, no, Pineapple. Dang it. Yes, Pineapple. Okay, so go ahead and pop that up to 6. So now 6-4. Let's move on here. And we're getting towards the back half. Now got Aerocrastic versus Rider Rohan, my patron. Arrow is going to be on the side of Pizza or Pineapple? Pizza. Okay. Rider Rohan's on Team Pineapple. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. All right, so straight into it with Slaanesh. Herald of Slaanesh, we've got Secret Chariots, some Knights of Slaanesh, a couple of Exalted Demonettes, Devoted Marauders, one Devoted Warrior in the center, some Throwing Axe, or sorry, Javelin Horsemen, and some Seekers as well. For Rider of Rohan, who else would it be but Tyrion and the High Elves. He's got a front line of White Lions, Lothern Seaguard, some Archer mixed in there. Yeah, one Rogue Archer, Lyrian Reavers, Heralds of the Wind, Regiment of Renown. Looking pretty good. Tyrion's gonna come forward to do some initial skirmishing, take some damage from the Javelin Horsemen, but also waste quite a bit of their ammo. So let's see once the actual engagement gets underway. Slaanesh just going to charge straight in, not even wanting to worry too much about devastating flanker, just straight up the pipe, chariots in the face, and there's some horrendous kind of artifacting happening from something there, so let's try and keep our distance. But yeah, Slaanesh Knights and the chariots get a really nice frontline charge here, do a huge amount of disruption. Slaanesh Furies rushing in as well, and Arrows just kind of going all in on trying to break a few specific points in Rider Rohan's build. But let's see how he can respond here. The Tyrion does get caught out in front away from the army, which is a little bit painful. We also get some support magic from Slaanesh. That Lash, of course, will proc map-wide melee attack buff. But so far, Pride of Rohan seems to be absorbing the damage of the Slaanesh rush fairly well. And we're going to see a nice Dwellers Below get unleashed here. Should do some very solid damage. Wreck. The Exalted Demonettes in particular are a quite expensive unit. So that's a great value cast right there. That's going to be like, yeah, like 1,600, 1,700 value just on one single cast. Absolutely fantastic. Back, let's take a look at the build here. Yeah, 925 technically, but tactically much more than that, obviously, because the damage from a demonic instability doesn't count, obviously, towards that character's damage. But yeah, Heralds of the Wind kind of getting a little bit outmaneuvered here, but will the staunch line of spears hold is the question. Nice rear charge by the Seekers. They were able to get in. It's some very solid damage. A little bit of Earthblood there, try and keep some of these units topped up, including Tyrion and the Heralds, but the Slaanesh surround is really when they start coming into their own, although High Elves do manage to retain one pocket of troops relatively, not surrounded. But Arrow's been doing a great job of keeping that disruption up and not leaving his cavalry in combat for too long at any one time. Another really nice rear charge from the Seekers into Lothern's Sea Guards. The High Elves, of course, though, with their defense and their leadership, should be able to hold out, though. I mean, a lot of their units have taken serious damage and are routing, but they've also done some serious damage in return, so it's definitely anyone's game at this point. See a Fury summon from the Lord there. The Herald, of course, with that Fury summon. It's just such a nice ability, great utility. Going to swoop in and do a ton of damage to those Lothern Sea Guard. And the Slaanesh surround once again underway. Yes, indeed. Looks like the High Elves starting to suffer some pretty serious leadership penalties, but they have some healthy units. One unit of Spearmen here, getting Melkos, or no, Acquiescence, that's right. And charmed, of course, by the Exalted Demonettes, but Tyrion also has a lot of HP left, and besides getting completely surrounded by, like, Seekers, I'm not sure what can actually kill Tyrion at this point. Yeah, I mean, getting him surrounded by, like, Demonettes or Seeker Cavalry is going to be the best way, but the Herald definitely cannot stand against Tyrion in melee. She just doesn't... I mean, she has very good stats, good armor-piercing damage, but, yeah, I guess similar HP, actually, at the end of the day, but I would think that Tyrion would probably have the advantage there. We'll see. Perhaps I will eat my words, and the Herald will end up slaying Tyrion in swift fashion, but, that's still a long ways off, especially as there's, like, Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh to try and grind through. There's obviously the White Lions to try and grind through. Oh, yes. Looking just fine so far. Slaanesh at an advantage, certainly, in battlefield control. So let's fast forward a little bit through this cleanup phase as they mess these routing units up, and Tyrion and his caster make their last stand. So this will probably take some time for them to grind through, but I don't know if Tyrion can actually hold out. This is a lot of stuff, even though things don't necessarily threaten him directly. I mean, the Herald, like, rear charging in this situation can do a lot of damage. Tyrion also has Heart of Avalorn, but if he routes before it procs, which he is likely to if he's the last thing on the battlefield, then, of course, he won't get the benefit from it. So, yeah, those Hellscourge warriors also just not taking much damage from him at all. So, I don't know. Maybe Tyrion doesn't have what it takes to absolutely Chad grind through this whole thing. Hysterical Frenzy also on the Seekers. They go up to 48 weapon strength. Massive extra melee attack. Tyrion does manage to hold his leadership while he gets the Heart of Avalorn proc, but it's not enough. The Seekers in his surround and Herald are able to finish him off. So, a very nice game by Aerocrastic, of course, champion of many Warhammer 2 tournaments, and just generally a very strong player. Comes out of, not necessarily retirement, but still, just absolutely hands it to Pride of Rohan, who is himself a very good player, but definitely can be tough when you're up against someone as good as Aerocrastic is, with a faction with as much mobility and kind of flexibility, although this build was relatively small on paper. A few elements really shine through. Definitely the initial charge with that chariot disruption and the knights was quite good. Seekers getting a lot of really nice rear charges and just generally having very stellar micro and not getting hit too much, staying too long in combat. Both the demonettes die, but one of them at least is able to get some really nice value back. And the Lothran Seaguard generally very cost effective. Not all of them in this particular build though, and the Lion Infantry also suffers pretty badly here. I mean, kind of tough to predict with Slaanesh. You do need some amount of armor piercing, definitely, but hard for sure. So let's go ahead and get on to the next one. Now that was a win for Aerocrastic, which I need to make sure that I attribute properly to Team Pizza. So you know what, guys, actually, I'm going to take a real quick break and grab a drink of water. I'll be right back, and we'll move on to the next game between these two, which is going to be, Bretonnia versus Wood Elves. I'll be right back, guys. Stay with me just a second. Okay, I am returned, and let's just load straight in. All right. Tyrion is a Chad, it's true. But let's go ahead and get into the next one. This time, Aerocrastic's Wood Elves taking on Ryder Rohan's Bretonnia. So it should be in for a very good time. Got some Deepwood Scouts here, Swift Shiver Shards, got some Eternal Guards with shields, Blade Riders, Spears, Durthu. And for Bretonnia, Albric leading the way, Royal Pegasus Knights, got some Holy Wardens, lots of Archers, lots of Chaff, Spears, and that's pretty much it. So let's fast forward to the initial domination phase as these two approach each other. All right. Whoops, just totally closed my chat. That's fine. We'll pull it back up here. And, yeah, the Wood Elves are just doing some initial skirmishing, so nothing really to see so far. Yep. Mobs getting terrified away almost immediately as I get in contact. Not really too surprising, to be honest. Durthu more or less just has to look at them and they start running to the hills. So let's see how Bretonnia can respond to this. Mounted Yeomen come in, Albric, they are able to absolutely wreck those Blade Riders, although taking some damage in the process. Swift Shiver Shards trying to close in to fire at the Pegasus Knights, while Durthu just bunker busts the side of this Bretonnian formation here. Bretonnia, though, definitely scrapping back. They've got this objective secured over on this far side. And the Pegasus Horse Squad here is moving in to try and shut down these Deepwood Scouts. Looks like Alberic is going to go for it. Maybe. Nope. Maybe they'll just bypass and go after another target here. See some Awakening in the Wood in the backline on these Peasant Bowmen. The Treekin penetrating pretty heavily. Holy Warden's going to use their magical flaming damage to great effect in this engagement here against the trees. But Wood Elves, so far, Aerocrastic has done a very good job in just breaking apart this formation and disrupting things very heavily. Treekin against, yeah, Royal Pegasus Knights. Ooh, weirdly trading, like, kind of badly against the Treekin. I guess, to a degree, it makes sense. Yeah, it's a pretty inefficient trade right now, but hopefully those Royal Pegasus Knights can receive some healing and be able to sustain through for a while. Peasant Archers also firing in here. And did somebody just forget to cap? Yeah, neither of them sent any units to cap that objective way out on the far side there, so let's see if someone will do that in a moment. Right now, both players are just kind of fighting it like it's a land battle, more or less, which I very much appreciate. It's not the meta way by any means to play domination, but it's definitely the cool way to play domination, so oof. This poor damsel is in much distress as she gets destroyed by evil trees. And the objective situation here in the center is just fine. Bretonnia is holding no problem, although they have a lot of peasants on the field, and capture weight of peasants is definitely something that is very, very bad. So,
oh, let's see how they can
do. Anyway, the Alberic and the Royal Pegasus Knights coming back in to try and save things, charge down those Swift Shiver Shards, but the damsel actually just gets fully killed, which is good for her. She can go back into the reinforcement pool and start to regenerate HP. So Pegasus Knights now trying to shut down these Swift Shiver Shards. They're probably going to get quite a bit of value in this process. The problem is, excuse me, they're also taking significant damage, which they're not going to be able to heal. So let's see. The capture weight also, like one Dryad here, a couple of spears, able to hold off a huge number of Bretonians because of that expendable capture weight that they suffer from pretty badly. But yeah, Rider Rohan right now not too far behind in terms of army damage value. Aerocrastic is slightly ahead. But battlefield control-wise, because of the expendable capture weight and the money spent on flying units, it's kind of a double whammy leading Rider Rohan to have very low capture weight at this time. Not been able to really secure those objectives super effectively. Royal Pegasus Knights also get finished off there, so things are not looking fantastic. But see how Bretonnia can do. We might fast forward, honestly, a little bit through this mid-phase, as a lot of Bretonnia's stuff has been routed and getting chased off. They have a few units kind of holding in different positions, but not looking fantastic for them right now. And again, no one sent anything to cap until now. We finally got some Eternal Guard from Aerocrastic. Going to cap that third objective there. But let's see. We got some Knights of the Realm, I think, coming out here. Oh, Grail Knights, actually. Full on Grail Knights come out, and their magic damage will be able to lance down these trees. Question is, can they actually then get in and get the job done in taking the objectives? Got some Ox Arrows as well, more Knights of the Realm. So we'll see. Let's see how they can perform in this situation. They've got a lot of enemies on the field to try and get through, but Bretonia's also got a little bit of a density of supporting peasants here. The problem is, again, capture weight. These elite cavalry plus expendable infantry is just low capture weight. Most unfortunate situation. But definitely need some charges by Grail Knights. Does this unit of Grail Knights actually have an attack order, or they just have a movement order? Or the Knights of the Realm, rather. Just a move order, but that's fine. Oh, yes. So, in the interest of time, because I do actually have to leave relatively soon, we're going to fast forward through this, as domination is not exciting to me. And yeah, as the Bretonnian cavalry kind of has severe pathing issues, bugging out. Let's also not pay too close attention to that, but I feel that things are pretty hopeless from Ryder Rohan and have been since fairly early on, so we're just going to fast forward and watch as the Bretonnians kind of get whittled down over time. Aerocrastic with full-on triple cap, and Ryder Rohan just suffering badly with his capture weight. Yeah, like... yeah, it's just... like over here, for example, this one unit of kind of injured Eternal Guards would probably be able to hold this objective for some time against the Peasant Halberds. Yeah, Men-at-Arms, Polearms there. Might actually win, but again, it's just not ideal situation. Knights of the Lion-Hearted come out for rear charge, and who knows, maybe if Ryder Rohan is able to actually capture some objectives, we can go back to normal speed. But for the time being, I'm content to just run it on fast forward and allow the battle to play out as it does. A lot of these Wood Elf units are out of ammunition, probably need to be retreated and resummoned, like the Deepwood Scouts and such. The Regiment of Renown Wild Riders also get caught out by the Grail Knights, and the Grail Knights are able to decisively win this engagement here. Shut down some significant value for the Wood Elves, so some wins for Ryder Rohan here in the air across the battlefield. Certainly, it hasn't been all bad for him, but he is pretty far behind on army damage value, and he did manage to actually recapture 2 objectives here, which is pretty important. Aerocrastic's kind of running out of units on the field to a degree. I mean, he has a lot of stuff kind of hanging out over here right now. I don't know if it's desynced, if the replay is desynced necessarily, but yeah, it looks like he's going to start to maybe maneuver some of those units over on this way. Let's see here. Maybe if Ryder Rohan or Aerocrastic are in chat, you can let me know if this is heavily desynced or not, because there are a lot of units just standing around for Aerocrastic, which is not typical of him. Who knows, maybe they had some kind of debug in the retreat there, because like all 3 of these units you would think would be retreated by now, but I don't know if it's actually going to end up mattering at all, because yeah, the Wood Elves here are able to reclaim this central objective, and they are in a very, very commanding position to take home the win. So let's continue to fast forward there. Companion's going to charge through. And yeah, there's got to be some desync issues or something happening here, because it is just... you can see the Knights of the Lion-Hearted actually have attack orders on like other units, and they're just like pulling through weirdly, and I don't know. Doesn't really make sense to me, but there you go. Perhaps a heavily desynced replay, but regardless, it is a win for Aerocrastic. And that much I think is correct. Yeah, Deepwood Scouts, Swift Shiver Shards getting some really nice damage. I know Aerocrastic's a huge fan of them in general, and their DPS is very strong. The range is not as good as the regular Deepwood Scouts, but doesn't matter too much in a lot of situations. You can definitely still just get the DPS you need. He certainly was able to do so. Credit to Ryder Rohan for trying his best. Tough situation for sure against a very good player. But we'll give another point to team... oh, hang on. Hang on. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Yes, so that's another point for Team Pizza. So we are back to even, guys. Score is once again all tied up. And we're getting towards the end here. We've still got a few more to get through. Black Phillip now against Dragonborn. And I see 2 rank 9 Hierophants. That's fantastic. We've got 2... or Hero Titan, that's right. We've got 2 Sepulchral Stalkers, rank 6. And just some Skeleton Warriors along with Atep. And 1 Necrotect. Black Phillip coming in with kind of a bit of a sensible vampire counts build, which actually makes me pretty sad. But he's got Strigoi Boy up in the air. And he's got front line of zombies, a single Crypt Horror, some Crypt Ghouls. Sorry, second Crypt Horror there. Stearnsman as well. He's got a Balefire Corpse Cart? Or no, Unholy Lodestone, yep. And then some ghosts here, 2 Khorne Wraiths, and Blood Knights. So, very interesting stuff. Yeah, double rank 9 Aero Titan is a lot. These guys are going to have 61 melee defense, so we'll see. I'm not sure if the vampire counts are really going to be able to do damage effectively to them, but nice double Shem's Burning Gaze on that initial phase there, getting some damage on the Strigoi. Of course, he can regenerate plenty of HP, no problem, but good to just start to whittle away at that. And then, oh man, look at these Blood Knights in the back line. Trying to charge into Sepulchral Stalkers. Of course, Sepulchral Stalkers having charge defense against large will be able to withstand this attack no problem, not to mention Overwatch fire from their friends here. They also have magic attacks in melee, so while the Khorne Wraiths will be able to hit them pretty hard, they'll also be able to hit the Khorne Wraiths pretty hard as long as they're not getting overly swarmed, which right now they are getting swarmed very heavily. A little bit of Spirit Leech on Kotep there, but he's going to unleash the Skull Storm. Oh yeah, just wreck these Sturnsmen and zombies a little bit. It's not going to do an insane amount of damage, but it certainly will do something. But Strigoi drops in the back line and is going to try and help his units just to finish off those Sepulchral Stalkers here. I definitely think not having the Hero Titans supporting this engagement is a huge mistake. The Aero Titans definitely could have tried to stabilize this a little bit here, provide some extra punch against the Khorne Wraiths and the Crypt Horrors, but instead, Sepulchral Stalkers, which had been doing very good initially and I think are pretty important here, are going to get worn down quite quickly. So, interesting situation. Let's see how the Tomb Kings can respond to this. Sorry, I just clicked out of the game for a second there. Anyway, yeah. So, Skeleton Warriors for the Tomb Kings, definitely suffering pretty badly. Double Undead is always a good time. But the Aero Titans, of course, in the center are going to be extremely tough to kill for vampire counts. Crypt Horror is already getting disintegrated by them. Of course, the Khorne Wraiths is also going to be hilarious because the Aero Titans, again, have magic attacks. So we'll see. This may end up turning into another fast forward if it's just going to be a big blob grind, which it looks like it's definitely trending in that direction. So yeah, another incantation of Cursed Blades there just to get some map-wide healing on as many units as possible. But no question those Skeleton Warriors are going to evaporate in a big hurry, so it'll just come down to a blob fight. You know, why delay the inevitable? Let's just start up the fast forward. Spirit Leech and Breath Attacks on Kotep there. He unleashes some more AoE magic damage. The Aero Titans are basically untouched, though, so there's that. I'm not sure how this is going to go in the long run, but we do see the Ushabti summon finally get pulled out here, and the Aero Titans are taking a little bit of damage. Critically, also the Necrotect is involved, and he also has that blinded contact effect, which is just insanely strong. That's going to make, you know, the Aero Titans have even more effective melee defense, up to like, what, 85 effective melee defense, essentially, as long as the Aero Titan's getting hits on whatever they're fighting, or the Necrotect, rather, is getting hits on whatever they're fighting. So I mean, these Necrotechs could legit just grind through this entire army. I mean, I guess they could also lose out on their leadership. Nice cycle charging from the Strigoi can threaten them. With his breath attacks, also he can do a little more consistent damage. But let's see here. Oh, the Aero Titan's leadership is getting dangerously low, at least in one instance. The Necrotech also could end up losing out on leadership here, which would be pretty bad for the Tomb Kings. He is also just taking damage in the way that the Aero Titans are not, but I can definitely see the Aero Titans running out of leadership here, especially as there goes the Necrotect. Falls to a Spirit Leech. And Strigoi is going to come in melee and just try and fight the Aero Titans. More of a 1v1 scenario, and despite the fact the Aero Titan's been wavering for quite some time, it's not losing its leadership, but it is starting to get pretty low on HP to the point where it will suffer crumbling damage. But I'm surprised how little damage these Aero Titans are actually dishing out. You know, they are fully surrounded here, but still, I mean, yeah, they end up getting some pretty insane value, but it's just too much of a blob grind for them to actually win, especially with the Strigoi cycle charging, despite how high their melee defense is. Just, it's tough for them, so unfortunately, Black Phillip's vampire counts win, and of course, Black Phillip is on team... What team is he on? I actually don't know. Can you guys confirm for me? I'm looking at the spreadsheet right now. I don't actually... Oh, no, here's World Beater. Oh, no, that's not who we're watching. Dragonborn, sorry. Yeah, I don't see either of you guys listed on the spreadsheet, so... Can somebody help me out real quick here? Maybe I'll just ask Ducky in chat. Oh, is that... That's Koala. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Black Phillip is Team Pineapple. Okay. Okay. So then we'll add a point on Team Pineapple for the vampire counts, unfortunately. And we'll move on to the next one between these two. This time it's... Okay, so I just have the one land battle from them, I guess. Did they not play a domination game? Anyway. Let's move on to Lenorm versus F-Pod. And here, yes, F-Pod is going to be on Team Pineapple. So coming in hot with ooh, like that. Double Engine of the Gods. Wow, when's the last time you guys saw an Engine of the Gods, to be honest? Fantastic pick. We've also got 4 Razordawn hunting packs. Lord Mazdamundi leading the way. Skin cohorts up front. Very simple build, but I like it. Got some stalkers there, vanguarded in the corners. For Tzeentch, looks like Kairos leading the way. Got some halberds, got some flamers, got some marauders, 3 flamers, 5 marauders, 3 halberds. 2 spawns, including the ROR. So, looking pretty interesting so far. Wood Elves, Warriors of Chaos versus Slaanesh. One below the Tomb Kings versus Vampire Counts Gaming. Okay, apparently I just, like, didn't sleep, or maybe I'm completely blind. Or maybe I just didn't download the replay, but... I don't know. I'm having a hard time today, guys. Let's see, make sure I actually got the... There it is. Okay, so... Oh, apparently I did actually download it. Yeah, I just didn't see it in my own replay folder, which is hilarious. Pretty typical of me to just be completely blind to something. But yeah, anyway, Double Engines of the Gods, that's fun. And let's see how the Flamers do. I would imagine, yeah, the Flamers do some okay damage, but it's actually not, like, that crazy, especially considering the Ancient Steg can just charge through and then cause the Flamers to do friendly fire damage to each other. And then maybe even charge the Flamers itself, which is very likely to happen. Meanwhile, the Marauders get terrified away. Razordawns are doing a great job of kind of skirmishing, and the Warriors now taking armor-piercing missile damage. So some nice ranged attacks from the Lizardmen so far. Oh, the net from Mazdamundi, and we're going to see the orbital laser bombardment from the Engine of the Gods on these halberds. Beautiful stuff, just absolutely fantastic. Oh, a double orbital bombardment, just going to completely nuke one of these halberds. The Flamers, though, are doing an absolute number on this Ancient Stegodon over here. That Engine of the Gods is getting completely roasted, so these Chameleon Stalkers definitely need to get into the back line, maybe get those Feral Cold Ones into the back line as well, shut down those Flamers as quickly as possible. Over here, that's exactly what's happening. Feral Cold Ones into the Flamers, able to pretty much kill off the unit, and that is extremely cost-effective for Lizardmen. That mobile unit, those Clever Girls, much cheaper than the Flamers themselves, so it's a great trade. Absolutely. And now this Engine of the Gods in here with the Chameleon Stalkers and everything. These guys are not going to be able to escape by any means. So looking good for Lizardmen so far, but of course Tzeentch not going to go quietly into that good night. Kairos still alive. He's got plenty of Marauders as well, and some more infantry try and help him out. But we're going to see a banishment from Mazdamundi, which will, of course, evaporate the barrier and start to deal some nice damage to those warriors. Lizardmen firing up into the air are getting some pretty good damage on Kairos, and a little bit of apotheosis to keep that Engine of the Gods topped up. So a little bit of yeah, thankfully Blue Fire doesn't do much at all to the Engine of the Gods or Stegodons in general due to their high health and armor and everything else. I mean, again, the shooting also, although it is armor piercing for Flamers, it's not actually that much. I mean, certainly as long as the Stegodons aren't getting focused too heavily, they can survive through it. But anyway, yes. The laser calls indeed, and just soaking up that fire damage too, tanking very, very well as the Flamers attempt to roast those giant dinos, but it's tough. It's tough to be a Flamer when you've only got 50 speed, and I mean, even the Lizardmen's infantry has 46 speed, right, with skinks, so it's tough to get away, but things are looking very good for the Lizardmen right now. I have to say, I really like this build in a lot of ways against Tzeentch. The Engine of the Gods, although it might seem like a meme, yeah, I don't know if either of them have actually paid for themselves, but against what Tzeentch brought in particular in this battle, they were quite effective. Yeah, only 1,000 damage value on this one, but it's definitely interesting. Get that 5% ward saved, a little bit of extra magic regeneration, get that burning alignment as well, which is decent right now. Going to be used on these Marauders and on the spawn as well. Kairos swoops down to try and fight in melee. A little bit of harmonic convergence, a little bit of Oracle of Eternity. 61-46 on attack and defense. Do some damage to Mazdamundi, but the spell won't last long enough for Kairos to decisively win that engagement and be able to swing this battle back. A little bit of point-blank blue fire as well. Mazdamundi's missile resistance applies to missile attacks, all missile attacks, including magic missiles too, so just a pro tip. Don't try and kill Mazdamundi with blue fire. I mean, especially if he has the banner, which it looks like he did not bring, the Sunburst Standard. But with that Sunburst Standard, he gets even more missile resistance, and it's just completely futile to try and blue fire him down. But anyway. We'll fast forward a little bit, as again, I do need to get moving in about 30 minutes, so as Kairos continues to fight here, it's seeming pretty hopeless for him. Weird spawner getting ground down. Another swing and a miss on that orbital bombardment, but Ruination of Cities gets much better contact, and then an immediate banishment. Man, Mazdamundi's so strong right now with his AoE magic damage, and also a pretty decent spell kit overall, but just given that AoE magic damage is very much kind of the meta, it's awesome. And F-Pod, man, what a build for Team Pineapple. The Lizardmen's getting insane value, the Engine of the Gods tanking and blasting with their lasers, Mazdamundi contributing nicely. It was a tough situation for Lenorm, definitely, with his Tzeentch build here. But let's go ahead and award a point to Team Pineapple. Now 2 points in the lead, and we'll go to some domination games. So this is the one that I had missed. Yes, Warriors of Chaos versus Slaanesh. So we'll go back to that. Dragonborn versus Black Phillip. Okay. And this time it's Warriors. Double Shaggoth with heals is a build that I've used in the past. It's pretty fun. Dual Chosen of Khorne as well with dual weapons, so just all-in heal blob with Festus on domination makes sense to a degree. We've also on the other side got a blob tool here with the Shrine of Slaanesh, Exalted Keeper, Soul Grinder here, Devoted Marauders, some Marauder Horsemen, Spawn of Tzeentch, and Hellstriders as well. So fast forward just a bit as both these players kind of make their approach. Chosen of Khorne, though, with healing can be exceptionally strong, but they're going to be at risk of getting severely outmaneuvered by Slaanesh here, obviously, and getting rear charged into oblivion. Let's see what else the Warriors have brought out. We've got a giant blob of Marauder Horsemen moving over. Try and get some skirmish damage on the Exalted Keeper. Dragging over Shaggoth, not wanting to take a bad engagement against the Keeper, is going to go ahead and maneuver away there, but once the Chosen of Khorne are in range to support, then they'll move up and clip through this tower and start to massacre these Chaos spawn. And it looks like we're going to see a nice big bit of shades here in the center. We'll do some quality damage to those Chosen of Khorne, although they are certainly being healed by Festus. I would imagine, are they not? Where does Festus... Ooh, maybe a big mistake here, not healing the Chosen. Festus instead has this damage aura up, which is going to be dealing a huge amount of damage to this area, sure, but keeping those Chosen in the fight was pretty important, I feel, for having proper support, and certainly, like, the single entities aren't going to be taking much damage from that Mortis Drain. I think it would have been much better to just keep with the healing, but let's see. It looks like Festus is going to just throw an Overcast Fleshy Abundance. That is also a way to heal, and he did switch to the healing elixirs. Okay, so definitely more important to have the heals at this point, try and keep those Warriors Chosen of Khorne fighting, but it looks like both of them actually get terrified, which is unfortunate. That said, the Shaggoths versus Soulgrinder and Exalted Keeper of Secrets right now, the Shaggoths are actually trading fairly well. Meanwhile, yeah, the rest of the battlefield here, it does look like Dragonborn just straight up forgot to capture his home objective, which is pretty painful. We'll see if that ends up costing him in the long run, as he's very likely to be able to secure this objective. Look at how much health those Chosen have, and they're technically still routing, leadership rather. Not sure exactly why that is. Sometimes the routing interactions in this game seem just a little bit clunky, but hopefully they actually come back from rout soon and can contribute, because that is a very expensive unit to be losing out on. But the healing Shaggoth's blob is doing pretty well right now. They've just about finished off the spawn, getting a lot of damage on that Keeper of Secrets there, but a beautiful rear charge by some Seekers into the side of those Chosen should give a lot of damage on them. And look at this, there's got to be some kind of bug happening here where these Chosen of Khorne are at full leadership and are still routing. That doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, they literally have like 70 leadership and they're still technically routing, so I don't know. Maybe it's just because they have a couple of unit models like caught up away from them. I don't really know exactly, but very frustrating bug, I'm sure, for Dragonborn here as he attempts to continue fighting here. But I think he's probably fine, just won out that melee engagement anyway. The question is, can he actually come in and secure his objectives? Because right now, yeah, he's got only one of 3 objectives secured, and definitely needs to put together a push to get on the next one. A big old blob of stuff right here, though, and it looks like Black Phillip is maybe overcommitting a little bit here, opening himself up to get surrounded and dragged down. Yeah, spawns here, just chasing this blob of horsemen. It'd be nice to see maybe the Shaggoths get in and try and take on that blob of horsemen as well, but right now they're just trying their best to try and finish off the Exalted Keeper of Secrets and that Soul Grinder. Festus also staying nearby, and the problem with going with like a Doom Blob build like this is you can only be in one place at a time, so the rest of the battlefield kind of gets neglected to a degree. I mean, certainly got Seekers kind of covering both of these objectives here. You've got the Devoted Marauders kind of holding there. Let's see. Dragonborn is able to get some more objectives secured. We'll fast forward a little bit through this mid-phase as more units are deployed and sent to various objectives. Chosen of Khorne still fighting. Daily reminder that Philip's a noob. Yes, definitely. Got a Manticore coming out, just charging into those Marauder Horsemen. Should be able to get them on the Terror route, which will be just fantastic. The big Slaanesh Horseman blob has been chased fairly well off the battlefield, where they're not really going to be able to contribute super heavily, but this Khorne Chosen unfortunately overextends and gets caught out by armor-piercing Slaanesh units. The Demonettes in particular, especially in a surround, are going to be very devastating. Chosen of Khorne doing their best, though, to fight it out here. and try and maintain some kind of objective capture so they don't just get completely ruined. Shaggoths are approaching their healing cap and have probably done an insane amount of damage. Let's check in here. Actually, not that much. Well, one of them has paid for itself. One of them has not. Got some more spawns moving in to try and move in, capture the objective here. The Horseman blob, aspiring champs here, Severed Claw. We're finally able to get into some of those horsemen and actually shred them in a big hurry. Manticore also doing damage to units on this objective. So Dragonborn definitely has the opportunity to get a triple cap here if he can execute it, as long as he can get his units onto the right objectives at the right time. But let's continue fast forwarding as we see some horsemen developed on this objective here. The Seekers also moving in, but the Chosen of Khorne move in at the same time. They'll be more than a match for those Hellstriders. Yeah, shred them, no problem. The Seekers will be a little bit more of a problem, but right now, Dragonborn's content to just try and cap these two objectives and hold them. He definitely has enough time left to where he doesn't need a triple cap. He can defend on a 2 cap and still win, although it will take quite some time. So
You have the foe's victory point.
yes, the healing definitely for Festus on all this high value stuff has been quite strong. I mean, he's heal capped like Chosen and Shaggoths, right? So very big, impactful units to heal cap, and the healing value on that is just ridiculous. You can see there that Black Phillip, not only is he been getting out DPS'd, but the healing on top of it means that he's falling even further behind than this is actually indicating here, which is more indicated by the number of units he has on the field, as the Shaggoths once again are able to, no problem, defeat the Soul Grinder and Exalted Keeper of Secrets together, 2v2. Shaggoths showing why, for the longest time, they were the true yardstick when it came to monsters in Total War Warhammer, monster by which all other monsters were measured. So let's take a value count once again. Shaggoth, this one's up to 3,000 here. This other one has taken a lot more damage. My guess is probably done less damage, but pretty close. 2,895, so yeah, it's looking very good for Dragonborn right now. Holding onto the objectives just fine. He's got the Severed Claw here to hold back the Seekers. Chosen of Khorne as well, so yeah, it doesn't look too promising for Black Phillip right now. It looks like Dragonborn probably takes this one for Team Pizza, keeping things nice and even, relatively speaking. Manticore getting rear charged there, still does really nice damage. This is definitely a matchup where I feel the Manticore can do quite well because of the squishiness of Slaanesh units. And, I mean, obviously being deployed against the Horsemen was a pretty ideal scenario. Can chase those fast light cavalry and get some damage done. Yeah, the shady parts, I agree, are a little bit too dark to see kind of what's going on 100%, but that's why we got the outlines, right? Anyway, yeah, that's going to be a game for Dragonborn here, as Black Phillip was unable to re-secure any objectives. So, yeah, credit to Dragonborn there. I really like this build. I mean, it seems kind of blobby and mouth breather, but at the same time, it's quite strong, healing those powerful Warriors of Chaos units, which previously didn't have access to them or otherwise wouldn't on other factions. It's just really good. I mean, healing elites, strong. Who would have thought? Yeah, anyway, so that is going to give a point to Team Pizza, right? Yes. So back almost to even, and now we'll go back to Lenorm versus FPod, and this time with the Empire versus the Dark Elves, and FPod's already coming in hot with 5 artilleries, yes, 2 rocket batteries, triple hell blasters. He's got handguns and free company, so just a maximum shooting initially on this Altar of Champions map. Lenorm here has responded by taking, you know, scantily clad Dark Elf lady build, which is also a valid answer, certainly. Got a Sorceress of Beasts, Crone Hellebron, Sisters of Slaughter, he's got Witch Elves, and that's it. The Empire is ready to date here with their guns. And did those towers just get, like, exploded by the rocket fire? That's kind of cool. Anyway. Yeah, we'll fast forward through this initial kind of artillery build-up phase as the rockets try and get into position to blast Dark Elves, smithereens, Errands of Cain, and regular Harpies also coming out here, looking to perhaps get at that artillery. But the Hellblaster shooting from Marcus, shooting from the Free Company, which can kind of cover these Hellstorms here, and the cannons, and everything else. Yeah, doing a great job. Let's see, will the Harpies actually manage to make it into contact there? Will their leadership drop too heavily? Rockets also making some contact there. Ooh, it does look like the Harpies were able to get home on that Hellblaster volley gun, but almost immediately get routed. This unit of Karens is going to get hard netted here, and then also going to get blasted by the Sterlin's Revenge. Silver Bullets in position. One unit of Witch Elves gets routed before they even get into contact. Pretty much. I mean, yes, in fact, I don't think they got a single kill there. Yeah, no damage. Very impressive stuff from the Empire. I mean, the Naked Lady Rush, turns out, does get countered by mass missiles, which is what the Empire is currently using right now, although it looks like some of these artillery pieces are already at risk of getting shut down. 2 Hellblasters. Ooh, a nice net from Marcus, though. He's going to catch the one Sister of Slaughter. Doesn't quite catch. Oh, it does. Just barely catch the Sister of Singing Doom there. Hellebron, though, moving up her chariot to really give this push some extra teeth. But the Karens also and the other Harpies were able to get home and eventually rout this Hellblaster volley gun. They're also going to be able to rout this rocket. But the mass of Silver Bullets and Free Company providing continuous fire up in the air. Yeah, not sure. Those Harpies looks like they're going to swing back and try and shut down that other Hellblaster. But I would think that the Empire, yeah, response with some cavalry here, should be able to rout the Harpies off and actually bail out these rockets, get them back online. Perhaps. We'll see. The thing is, though, I mean, FPOD, by taking this ranged focus build, once again, we see that he trades very cost-effectively. He's actually, you know, winning in terms of army damage value, but the capture positions have all pretty much been secured by the Dark Elves at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be tough for the Empire to actually get on those objectives and start to capture them without the right melee units, melee-capable units. But so far, looking okay. Problem is, though, that even these very tattered Dark Elf units have such good leadership that they'll continue fighting until the bitter end. Murderous Prowess has been popped now, too, so that's going to give even more leadership and combat prowess to all these Dark Elf units. Empire's mostly resecured their backline, but that artillery focus and domination can be tough to execute correctly. You really need to have melee units to be able to go out and take the objectives. Right now, yeah, the fact that Lenorm didn't capture this objective here might come back to haunt him, honestly. But hey, thanks, Bob. Much appreciated. Yes, I did see some of these towers were destructible. That's a super cool little detail, by the way. Murderous Prowess leadership buff MVP for sure. The charge bonus buff also very good. The melee attack buff. Look at this. These Witch Elves just getting netted in the backline and blasted by Free Company. I mean, again, army damage value-wise, FPOD's still ahead. It has taken a toll, though. It's Dark Elves have been able to punch back and recoup a lot of that lost value. And even things out pretty considerably. But let's see, will the Empire Knights push forward and try and capture these 2 objectives? If I was playing Empire right now as FPOD, I would definitely, absolutely send these 2 Empire Knights to cap these objectives and kind of staunch the bleeding. Maybe try and send this Free Company up and around to pressure this objective as well. But let's see here. Fast forward a little bit through this reorganization as the Empire Knights try and finish off the Witch Elves, or Sisters of Slaughter, rather. Yeah, I don't know if FPOD remembers that he's playing Domination, but a little bit of net on Hellebron there, perhaps, or it looks like it was potentially going to be a net on Hellebron, but we see some Demi-Halberds coming out here now. Deal with Hellebron. They are going to be more than enough to shred her chariot here in melee. Question is, will FPOD actually capture the objectives? Does look like this Hellblaster is back online somehow. That's really interesting, blasting those Wood Elves point blank in melee. At this point, though, Lenorm does have units kind of covering the objectives to a degree, although FPOD certainly does have more units on the field. Come on, FPOD, get him over there. Go. Send the Empire Knights to cap the objectives. Maybe he's just waiting until the very end, until he can get a full triple cap, but he is going to need to get a triple cap now at this point in order to win, so let's see if he's able to do that. And eventually, yes, the Empire Knights are going to realize, like, oh, we're playing domination. We should probably go try and capture the objective here. So they do eventually get onto that objective number 3. Got some units coming onto this objective number 2 here. But again, FPOD does need to execute a triple cap. And he definitely has the tools and resources on the battlefield to do so. It looks like, yeah, finally the Stirland's Revenge is going to go capture that other objective. And finally, things are looking very, very good for the Empire. Battlefield control is theirs. They've got a full battlefield press ongoing, pushing on all fronts. Got way more units on the field. Definitely a huge advantage in army damage value at this point. So, yeah, the Naked She-Elves build definitely was bold, and I respect the pick, but the Empire Gunpowder build turns out is a counter, so... Oh, man. Free Company firing in from downtown. No more artillery left, but it's all just handheld weapons. Knights, of course, as well. Empire Knights, Demigryph Knights. Multiple Demigryph Knights, halberds. It's interesting to see. Not something you see all the time. I have been seeing more of them since they got a little bit of an update in the most recent patch. Oh yeah, sandwiched by Empire Knights, Stirland's Revenge, Demigryph Knights. So let's fast forward now through this next phase as FPOD tries to hold on for the win. It's going to take him some time to accrue those victory tickets. But let's see if Lenorm perhaps decides to throw in the towel at a certain point, or if he's going to just continue fighting here. Stirland's Revenge holding out just fine against Dark Riders. No problems there, and it does look like Empire's going to walk home with the win. So FPOD there, I was a little bit worried he wasn't going to have enough time to actually push and capture the objectives, but man, oh man, Free Company against the Naked Elves. Just insanely cost-effective damage value on them. Free Company's DPS up close is very high against non-armored units, and of course, all witch units lack armor almost entirely. I'm surprised, though, even the Shades didn't do very well, all things considered, in terms of damage. So, yeah, battlefield control is fantastic. Some rush areas were executed to perfection, but yeah, the FPOD sticking to his guns quite literally. Gotta secure that backline before he can walk out. It's true. It's true. Although you probably could have done it a tiny bit earlier, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It ended up working out in the end, so I can't really criticize too hard. Anyway, so that is going to be a victory for Team Pizza. Or, sorry, Team Pineapple. They're going to increase their lead ever so slightly. 7-9 going into the last series, I believe. Hang on, is this the one we already watched? No. Okay, no, it's not not the one we already watched. Okay, so it's Felcon now, finally, and Rider of Rohan versus Dragonborn and Barkan Attack. So Felcon, Rider of Rohan, representing Team Pineapple here. Yes, Wood Elves versus Dark Elves, Lizardmen versus High Elves. Durthu leading the way. Almost looks like an auto-gen build. Yes, and Felcon's Lizards we'll see in just a minute, but got some Glade Riders, Spears and Bows mixed, Wild Riders, got a couple of Way Watchers, some Stag Knights. For lizards, a couple of rippers up in the air. We've got Lord Croak. We've got Gorok here, a couple of bowstags, and some Saurus spears. And then, of course, Tyrion for the High Elves. We've got a bunch of White Lions as a main line, backed up by Lothern Seaguard and Archers. Got Rahagri's Pride. Old One Knights, Lothern Seaguard as well. Hawkeyes of Jakira and more Way Watchers. Vanguard deployed in the back. Will they be forgotten about immediately? We will see. Some Glade Riders over here. Marathi, 2 Black Dragons, and some Cold One Dread Knights. So the Dark Elves going for a very heavy build here. Yeah, more Cold One Knights. So all Cavalry and Dragons for the Dark Elves, which is super cool, honestly. A couple of War Lines, including Rahagri's Pride. It's very cool as well. But, oh no. Oh, this poor little Wood Elf caster is going to get caught out here by a Black Dragon, and then by some Cold One Knights. Swing and a miss there on that Awakening of the Wood. I'm not really sure what the Branch Wraith was doing out there anyway, but... Yeah, Bowstags are firing at the dragon, it looks like. The Black Dragon's definitely a good target. Soul Stealer, though, is going to be cast on the Rippers. Both units of Rippers will be taking some significant damage. And let's check out this mainline fight, you know. We've got Saurus versus White Lions with some Lion Chariots involved as well. Didn't see those initially. Very cool. But I do think Saurus actually just straight up beat White Lions normally 1-to-1. But, of course, these are Saurus Spears. And, High Elves and Lizardmen have been having plenty of support as well, including a really nice breath attack hitting on the side there for the Dark Elves. Yeah, does lead to the High Elves getting terrified away there, but that's okay. Dark Elf Cavalry swinging up and around to kind of close the door and get a big flanking charge all across the field, shut down some of these black backline units just in time too. Murderous Prowess pops, increasing their charge bonus and melee attack, so a really ideal scenario for them to try and fight these big dinos in melee. You can see they're also kind of lining up another Soul Stealer here, looking like, with the trying to draw the Ripperdactyls into the same area as the Stegodons. Looks like Rahagri's Pride did get caught out, unfortunately, by Wild Riders there and just completely killed. The Mighty Roar was not going to stop them from getting destroyed. The rest of the High Elf mobile reinforcements as well try and get in, help them out, but it's definitely too little too late. And, yeah, sorry, just getting some text, some important text I got to read after this. But anyway, the High Elves and the Dark Elves is pushing hard on all fronts. The Lizardmen are struggling a little bit. Durthu trying to support these Feral Stags, and it looks like we're going to get pizza delivery here, which will not really do a lot of damage to the Elven Alliance. But it looks like a Soul Stealer there, set up by Marathi. Hits, again, all those single entities and low model count units. Going to be very, very effective. Where will the rest go? We shall see. It looks like Lothern Seaguard getting reset out in the distance there to try and support, kind of push back the mobile units of the Wood Elves. The Way Watchers were not forgotten about. They came forward and were able to do some nice burst damage here with the Wild Riders kind of protecting them. They should be able to get some good damage in. Let's see, though. Lion Chariots are inbound. Will they try and use that Smoke Bomb? Or maybe they've already used the Smoke Bomb, perhaps? I don't know. Definitely looking tough, though, for the Jungle Alliance here, as the Wood Elves and the Lizardmen are quite spread out, and Dark Elves and High Elves kind of have the initiative to an extent, and they're able to kind of dictate how things are going to go from now on. We'll see, but the cavalry pressure is immense with chariots mixed in. These Way Watchers, I don't know if they're set to fire at will or not, but regardless, they are going to die the death in melee. Finally using that smoke bomb after everything lands, but they're so inundated with unit models at this point, I don't think they're going to be able to escape, and I don't know that the smoke bomb actually hit those Cold One Dread Knights anyway, so it's looking very grim indeed for the Jungle Alliance, as the Eternity Elves try and finish things off. The single entity fight is, yeah, the Dragons and Marathi and Tyrion way more than what these Stegodons can handle, so It's not like you Power of Darkness any White Lions either. Calculated Dark Elf friendly fire. Makes a lot of sense. But, yeah, we'll fast forward to this last cleanup phase, as, again, I do need to get moving. I'm actually a little bit over time, but it's fine. There's only, like, 1 or 2 more replays to get to, so... So, yes, Team Pineapple going to take another win there. With Falcon and Rider of Rohan prevailing. That's going to put Team Pineapple all the way up to 10. Wow. It's looking tough. I don't know that at this point it's mathematically possible for the Team Pizza to recover and actually come back and either tie or win, but we'll still go through the rest of the replays very quickly, just for fun. Even though at this point, Team Pineapple, I believe, has officially won, right? Can I declare that Team Pineapple the winner? I think I'll just go with that. Anyway. Did I miss the ambush battle in the siege? I think I did. I'll have to go back and grab those real quick. But anyway, for this land battle, it's Zhao and Nurgle. Got a bunch of Chosen of Nurgle great weapons, Exalted Plague Bearers here. So very tall Nurgle build with just elites, Uncle for Uncle, and the Bog Barons. Then for Cathay, it's just a mix. Got Celestial Dragon crossbows, Peasant Long Spears. Yeah, so this is the Broken Lands, one of the worst maps in the entire game. One person starts low ground swamp forest. The other person starts with a high ground swamp forest. So, Falcon's definitely going to be, yeah, they're going to be at a little bit of an uphill disadvantage. But let's see what the rest of the build here is. Harpies, we've got Imric leading the way. Looks like Bloodrack Medusa again for the Eternity Alliance. Illyrian Reaver Archers, Witch Elves, Sisters of Slaughter. Some Sword Masters in the back there. Anyway. Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll find the Siege and the Ambush Battle, both of which should be pretty fun to watch. I do need to go pretty soon, though, so I might end up having to cast those separately as replays. Just depends on how long this battle takes, but big downhill charge by all the Harpies and the Elves, and it's going to be a tough time, especially because the Cathayan units can't really fire effectively, but notice here the quad wagons. Yes, that's right. 4, 2 of them being casters, 2 of them being regular, 4 Wujing War Compasses is going to result in Zhao getting an insanely strong spell kit. He has a huge amount of mastery of the elemental winds here and just extra spell mastery in general. So Final Transmutation will be extremely strong for him once he chooses to cast it. But for the time being, it's just the Wujing War Compasses dropping their hot loads all over this pocket right here. A couple of immediate bombardments for missiles. Yeah, quad compasses. You get all the AoE magic damage, and you get supercharged spells from Zhao. Looks like Khorne Hellebron's pulling up her melee attack buff to try and keep the pressure up, but the Nurgle units are sustaining quite well, and Chosen of Nurgle just straight up against Swordmasters. Swordmasters probably win that. It's probably like, might be a 50-50 trade if you were to try it out a bunch of different times, but Piercing Bolts of Burning there does basically no damage at all. Not really sure what he was aiming at. Nice Plague Breath, though, to do some damage to those Swordmasters. Man, Swordmasters with Hellebron's attack buff is definitely a scary, scary prospect. And it's no surprises that the ranged units of Cathay were completely eliminated without doing much at all. Swordmasters also just wreck those Chosen here. They get the support of the Medusa for some terror. So let's get in close once again and watch as some more comments are dropped from the Cathayan units here, and Nurgle's already run out of steam on his Exalted Plague Bearers, which is definitely not good. It's looking very, very rough for Cathay and Nurgle at this point, but who knows, maybe Zhao will get some big, huge spell and just completely pull things back. Where is Zhao, by the way? Is he still here? I actually have no idea. I hear his spells going off. Oh, there he is. Okay. Fighting Imric up in the air in melee might not be the best idea, but he did get Fecundity. Yeah, he's got Fecundity healing him and restoring his vigor, so it's not too much of an issue. The Exalted Great Unclean One also is getting great Mortis Drain damage right now, although he is taking huge damage in melee from the double Blood Racks and from Imric. It's also got Uncle Furuncle in here. Zhao dives down, so this single entity fight actually isn't going completely terrible for the low ground alliance. Why this map? Because why not? This girl screams so much. Yes, the ladies of the Dark Elves do have a tendency to yell quite a bit. They're just so angry. Oh man, look at that Dragon's Breath though. That just like almost one-shots that Lothern Seaguard. That is the reason why you bring Quad Compass right there, is for that specific interaction. Even though, yeah, unfortunately the Exalted Great Unclean One goes down. Imric also able to get supporting Archer Fire. The other Exalted Great Unclean One's very likely to go down as well, so things are not looking good at all, but there's a big old Final Transmutation. Wow, is that actually just going to kill Imric straight up? Wow, that might just completely swing back the battle in the other direction. Imric and Hellebron both are basically completely dying to that. Yeah, Hellebron does have spell resistance if she brought the appropriate item, but it doesn't look like she did. The High Elves, though, going to throw in the towel anyway. Yeah, Zhao getting up in there, and that Final Transmutation did an insane amount of damage, but unfortunately just wasn't quite enough. I think he maybe needed to save up his magic and try and get that Final Transmutation a little bit earlier on in the battle, but still, love the Quad Compass, absolute fun meme pick, and yes, rest here. Nurgle didn't really do too much, to be honest. Kind of got outclassed. Yeah, it was army losses. Yes. So, very, very terrible map, to be honest. Belcon and Ryder Rohan had no problem charging downhill and just wrecking. So, yeah, the Quad Compass, though, is definitely a fun build for sure. Sends a message, if nothing else, but it is a lot of AoE magic damage, that is for sure. So, let's go ahead and move on. So that is another win for Team Pineapple, but who's honestly keeping score at this point? So let me go ahead and just quickly find the Siege and Ambush games. Okay, hang on just one second, guys. Okay, let me find these. I found the ambush battle. Where is the siege? I might have to ask for it specifically. While I'm waiting on that, we'll go ahead and just go to the ambush real quick. Arc Maps Norsca getting ambushed by Ronin's Wood Elves. Yeah, I for some reason can't find them, Poison Ducky. I don't know, again, if I'm just blind or like I'm looking through the list of replays right now and I don't see the Siege replays anywhere. So if you could just like tag me in them, that would be fantastic. Anyway, so it's an ambush. Oh no, the Norskins, Skin Wolves, they've got Famir, Ice Trolls, Soul Crusher, everything just gets instantly charged by Wood Elves, and yeah, they're just going to take tons of damage in melee by everything, obviously. Not that much, honestly, as much as you would consider, especially considering this ambushed debuff is pretty significant debuff to all stats, but, I mean, some Marauders definitely get killed there, Sword of Daith, we're going to see a Flame Storm get unleashed in the Wood Elves lines, Norscan Ice Trolls and Skin Wolves are going to try and reorganize here to get away from those nasty, nasty spears, but obviously, things are going to go very much in favor of the Wood Elves initially, and very quickly. Marauder Spearmen trying their best to hold out, but just getting terrified away. Monstrous Infantry now mostly getting surrounded by Wood Elf Cavalry, heavily debuffed, and the Loex Tricksters also chasing after them. So, looking very good there, and yeah, it shouldn't be too much longer that the Wood Elves will likely clean this one up, but let's see here. Okay, so both of them actually forgot to post their siege replays. Okay, so if they're not around right now, then I'll just have to post cast those at a later time, because yeah, I need to run like very soon. So if they're not around to post it immediately, that's okay. I'll be more than happy to post cast them in a separate video. But oh yeah, the Wood Elves, I mean, can they get it under 2 minutes for army losses? I don't think so. But Throg and the Mammoth at least will be able to survive for a little bit of time here. Yeah, the leadership damage to the Trolls, man, that was an aggressive choice, taking Trolls in an ambush. I mean, I don't know. Did he know this was going to be an ambush battle when he took it? But anyway. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see those games just because they're going to be hilarious to watch. But it won't actually take it won't change the outcome at all of the actual clan war. Not that the outcome actually matters at all, but don't you hate it when hundreds of elves appear a few feet away from you? You know, that is a literal nightmare for me. You know, as an elf hater, I just cannot. Like, I could not. If that happened to me, I would just die instantly, probably. But another Flamestorm is going to get unleashed here. Try and even things out just a little bit. It does do a hilarious amount of damage, probably. The Fire Famir, I would guess, yeah, it's the most value out of all units. There you go. Hawk Riders, Sisters of Khorne. Cleaning up the last of these units here. Soul Crusher just getting its soul crushed in melee by War Dancers. Just dancing all over its grave. Can actually be fun if only allowed to blow in these forests. Yeah, like you got a nice like cinematic downhill charge out of the forest. Could be fun. Oh man, Durthu just trying to finish off this Famir, bro. I'm surprised, considering this is technically a regular land battle in terms of army losses, that army losses hasn't kicked in, but there it is. Finally, Arc map takes the loss. And Ronin on the ambush, no surprises. Wood Elves are able to prevail, but yeah, so it doesn't matter. I don't think this was just an exhibition game anyway. Like, the points don't matter at all for the sake of the Civil War, but it's official, guys. Team Pineapple is the winner for today. So all hail to our Lord and Savior of the Pineapple. And thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you to Poison Ducky for putting this whole thing together, and for all of the wonderful XMT QSA DVD players who are participating today. One big happy friendship cartel is what we are, to be honest. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you guys are the best. I very much enjoy doing this for you. Sorry I had to run today. I wish I had a little bit longer to stick around and hang out, but alas, duty calls. So thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you so much, Felcon, for all the tips as well, of course, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.